facts, speak with the experts, and as always, listen to both sides. What's your story? Tell us on both sides of the story. 922-4112, 922-4113, 922-4114, and 922-4115. You can listen to both sides of the story on the Gleaner's website, www.go-jamaica.com, on your mobile phones at tunein.com or nobex.com, or by dialing 832-551-5045 or 213-493-0133 in the USA. If you're in the UK, you can dial 020-3519-0145, and in Germany, 051-180-904044. Our email address is bothsides106@live.com, and you can join us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter, or link us up on Skype. We look forward to receiving your instant messages on MSN or Yahoo, and your text messages on 365-3346. Remember, we have 2 ears and 1 mouth, so we can listen twice as much as we speak. So stay with us as we listen to both sides of the story.
Both sides of the story.
Both sides of the story. Both sides of the story. Both sides of the story.
Both sides of the story.
We always need to hear both sides of the story. Both sides of the story. Both sides of the story.
Both sides of the story.
Yes, both sides of the story. Both sides of the story. Both sides of the story.
Both sides of the story.
Both sides of the story.
Knowledge is power. Class is in session. Hour 106.
Make every day special. Own it. Enjoy it. Bask in the glory of life. Appreciate the gift of your own life.
All I want for Christmas is a beat to dancing time. If you don't have any money, I will let you have some of mine. All year I've been working, now this is my time for fun. If you should feel the same way, just put on your new shoes and come. Yeah, make Christmas get you in a good mood. Make Christmas get you feeling fine. Put on your dancing shoes and come with me tonight. We're gonna rock till broad daylight. Make the Christmas get you in a good mood. Make the Christmas get you feeling fine. Put on your dancing shoes and come with me tonight. Gonna rock till broad daylight. Yeah. If your shoes start squeezing you, just kick them off, that's fine. Nothing should stop your faith from dancing. Come on, it's Christmas time. Yeah, let the Christmas get you in a groove. Let the Christmas get you feeling fine. Put on your dancing shoes and come with me tonight. We'll all rock till broad daylight. Yeah, yeah. Let the Christmas get you in a groove. Let the Christmas get you feeling fine. Put on your dancing shoes and come with me tonight. We'll all rock till broad daylight. If your shoes start squeezing you, just kick them off, that's fine. Nothing should stop your feet from dancing. Come on, it's Christmas time, yeah. Let the Christmas get you in a groove. Let the Christmas get you feeling fine. Put on your dancing shoes and come with me tonight. We'll all rock till broad daylight.
2021 to 2030 is the International Decade of Healthy Aging, the International Decade of Ecosystem Restoration, the International Decade of Ocean Science for Sustainable Development, and the Decade of Action for Road Safety. It's the 23rd day of the 11th and penultimate month of 2021, the International Year of Peace and Trust, the International Year of Creative Economy for Sustainable Development, the International Year of Fruits and Vegetables, the International Year for the Elimination of Child Labor, and the International Year of Health and Care Workers. Put another way, it's the 23rd day of the 6th month of the 2021 Atlantic hurricane season. And according to Jamaica's Meteorological Service, there's a cold front across the Gulf of Mexico. Closer to home, there's a trough across Jamaica. The trough is expected to remain across the island today. A frontal system is expected to move across Jamaica tomorrow, Wednesday, the 24th of November. The system will then stall on Thursday. Expect an increase in shower activity along with cool and windy conditions, mainly across northern parishes during this time. The rest of this afternoon will be partly cloudy across hilly areas, otherwise mainly sunny. Tonight will be mainly fair. And this time last year was the 258th day since the first confirmed case of COVID-19 in Jamaica. 1 year later, and it's 623 days since the first confirmed case of COVID-19 here in Jamaica. COVID-19 still very much alive and kicking right across the world, and we cannot afford to let our collective guard down. Today also marks the 615th day since the first confirmed COVID-19 death in Jamaica. And for the latest information, the latest data on COVID-19 in Jamaica, please feel free to visit moh.gov.jm, moh.gov.jm. In the meantime, let's continue to strengthen our immune system, wear our masks, wash and sanitize our hands, avoid touching the face with dirty hands, and maintain a physical distance of at least 6 feet. And let's remember, vaccines are available. We're not short of vaccines in Jamaica. We have a lot of the AstraZeneca vaccines here, the Oxford AstraZeneca vaccine. We have the Pfizer vaccine. We also have the Sinopharm from China, the Sinopharm vaccine. We've had Johnson & Johnson here as well. And not remembering any other vaccine that is available right now. But vaccines are available. Take full advantage. Here in Jamaica, we continue to observe the month of November as Science and Technology Month, Youth Month, Parents Month, Local Government Month, Community Development Month, Diabetes Awareness Month, Epilepsy Awareness Month, Drug Abuse Awareness Month, Food Month, Eat Jamaican Month, Alzheimer's Awareness Month, CARICOM Energy Month, Kiwanis Family Month, and Lung Cancer Awareness Month. This week is being observed as Police Week, as celebrated by the Jamaica Constabulary Force, the JCF, marking their 154th anniversary. And what an anniversary it has been so far, where the police and the government seem to be at war. Can you imagine that? At a time when we need to be united in the fight against crime and criminality. Where are the adults involved in the negotiations between the police and the government? We perhaps need to invite the adults to the table so that big people can engage in reasonable discussions, rational discussions, and in the final analysis, arrive at the right decisions. But it cannot be that we have the police and the government at war while these friars are able to drive into a gas station in a tinted vehicle. This is why I've never been a fan of a tinted vehicle. Never, ever. We know, for example, those who sell new vehicles, the dealers like to insist on tinting these vehicles because once your vehicle is on the road, you're representing their brand, their make. And so they insist that you tint the vehicle. But the vehicles don't need to be so darkly tinted because you don't know if it's a duppy or a gunman inside the vehicle. And so when you can have this dark tinted vehicle, in fact, both vehicles of interest in that crime committed were heavily tinted. And so this tinted vehicle can drive into a service station of all places, a service station, a gas station, which is a potentially flammable environment. It's easy for a fire to get going there. And we have seen what happened in Mandeville, Manchester, a few years ago. That massive explosion at Heaven's service station. But these friars, or as they call some of them on the streets, the wasteman, make the conscious decision in a darkly tinted vehicle to drive up to a service station in search of whoever they were after and to pump shots into the vehicle, which ultimately connected the people in the vehicle. And that has gone viral all over the world. So while we are busy at war with each other, we're supposed to be law-abiding citizens. The police are supposed to be law enforcers and law-abiding citizens. And the members of the state, the government, are supposed to be law-abiding citizens. One moment, please.
All I want for Christmas.
You're listening to Power 106 FM. The time is now
2:15.
This Black Friday, Town City and Home Center has all the best deals for your home and more. Don't miss incredible savings of up to 70% off tiles, faucets, home decor, and more to get your home ready for the holidays. Plus, up to 60% off premium brands like Kohler, Big Fans, and Porcelanosa. Shop and save all week, November 22 to 27 in store or online at tilecityja.com and enjoy lots of prizes and surprises. Tile City and Home Center, your dream home starts here.
Pesticides are dangerous. Always store pesticides in their original labeled container.
This will ensure that they are not mistaken for food or drink. Keep all pesticides out of the reach of children. Never store pesticides where flooding is possible or places where they may spill or leak into waterways. Never store pesticides with or near food, animal feed, or other supplies. Store pesticides beyond the reach of children or animals. A message from the Pesticide Control Authority, Ministry of Health and Wellness.
It's that time of the year again. Show off your culinary skills with the help of the Gleaner's Christmas Cookbook. Indulge in authentic Jamaican recipes and wow your guests. Purchase the Gleaner from your vendor or sales outlet on December 9, 2021 to get your copy. The Gleaner, where life unfolds.
You don't want to miss tomorrow's star. Purchase a copy of the Star 70th Anniversary Special Edition from your vendor or sales outlets. Let us take you through special anniversary features, stories, and experience a bit of nostalgia. Get news, entertainment, sports, and so much more. Celebrate with us. The Star, the People Paper.
If your shoes start squeezing you, just kick them off, that's fine. Nothing should stop your feet from dancing. Come on, it's Christmas time. Yeah.
One wonders how much of a Christmas we'll be able to have under the current conditions. It is really untenable. We cannot have an unresolved situation between the police and the state to the point where they're virtually at war. The police are at war with the state. And while that is happening, the marauding individuals with guns are doing as they feel. It is just untenable, and it requires the statesmen and women of this country to demonstrate that mediation is possible, to demonstrate that it is possible for us to rationally and reasonably resolve whatever issues we're having in the best interest of Jamaica, land we love. And if we can't do that, then we're in serious trouble. We're already in serious trouble, and it's going to mean more trouble, quite frankly. We have to get it together. We have to get it together. We have to find a way. And it doesn't help in an environment where people, in this case the police, feel that they are being shortchanged or being made to feel less than, while they see and hear of who is getting what kind of payoff or not, what kind of settlement or not. It's just, it doesn't augur well for trust. It doesn't augur well for, especially when people are not being, people are being backward in coming forward and just putting it on the table what the situation is, so that the population gets the full picture of what is happening and not happening, what is being done and how it is being done. But this situation is untenable. We cannot have the police and the state at war when we need to be united in the war against crime and violence in this country. The cliche is that we hope good sense will prevail. It remains to be seen how this will all unravel. But it's not good. Not good in a country that desperately needs a consistently high level of unity to achieve certain goals in this country. Velta Wilson says, good afternoon, Mr. Malcolm. Good afternoon to all listeners. Good afternoon, Velta Wilson. We'll come back to the messages in just a moment. But how did we get there? Well, we got there because we were sharing that this week is Police Week. The Jamaica Constabulary Force celebrates 154 years of existence today. This week, their 154th anniversary. This week is also Civil Service Week, under the theme, the public sector, anchoring technology for sustainable growth and efficiency. And we've also been celebrating Pesticides Awareness Week. The people of Japan are celebrating Kinro Kansha no Hi, Labor Thanksgiving Day, while Georgians are paying homage to St. George of Iberia. And we are declaring today Mary Seacole Day because this great Jamaican nurse of international repute was born on this day in Kingston, Jamaica in 1805, 216 years ago. And so we celebrate the 216th anniversary of the birth of the great Mary Seacole. Hoy es martes el 23 de noviembre 2021. Y les saludamos en cualquier parte del mundo que nos están escuchando en este momento. Estamos muy agradecidos por el don de la vida y el privilegio de servirles en otra edición de su programa Both Sides of the Story, ambos lados de la historia. Nunca vamos a tomar su audiencia por sentado porque sabemos que ustedes tienen otras opciones. Y esta es la razón por la cual jamás olvidamos darle las gracias por elegir Both Sides of the Story, ambos lados de la historia, de lunes a viernes desde las 2 hasta las 5 de la tarde, aquí en Power 106 FM. La misión continúa para educar, capacitar, iluminar y estimular el espíritu empresarial. Bienvenidos.
Just kick them off, it's fine. Nothing should stop your feet from dancing. Come on, it's Christmas.
C'est mardi le 23 novembre 2021 et nous vous saluons tous qui nous écoutez où que vous soyez dans le monde. Nous sommes reconnaissants du don de la vie ainsi que du privilège d'être à votre service par une nouvelle édition de votre programme Both Sides of the Story, le pour et le contre. Nous ne considérons pas votre fidélité comme l'un de soi parce que nous savons que vous avez l'embarras du choix. C'est pourquoi nous n'oublions jamais de vous remercier de choisir d'écouter Both Sides of the Story, le pour et le contre, du lundi au vendredi de 2h à 5h de l'après-midi sur notre antenne Power 106 FM. Nous continuons notre mission d'éduquer, d'habiliter, d'éclairer et d'encourager l'esprit d'entreprise. Bienvenue.
Stop your feet from dancing. Come on, it's Christmas time, yeah.
All we're saying is it's Tuesday, the 23rd of November, 2021, and we greet you well, wherever in the world you are listening to us right now. We remain eternally grateful for the gift of life and the privilege to serve you on yet another edition of your program, Both Sides of the Story. We don't ever take your listenership for granted because we know you have choices And that's why we never ever forget to remember to say thanks for choosing to listen to both sides of the story Monday to Friday, 2 to 5, right here on Power 106 FM. The mission continues to educate, empower, enlighten, and encourage entrepreneurship. Welcome.
If you don't have any money, I will let you have some of mine. All around and working.
It's the 327th day of 2021, which means we are 38 days away from 2022. And for better or for worse, for richer or for poorer, in sickness or in death, whatever the situation, the fact of life is that in 38 days' time, some of us will no longer be around. That's just a fact of life. We're 38 days away from 2022. Some of us will make it to 2022 and some won't. And for those who celebrate the season in 1 month and 1 day, it will be Christmas Day. Let us do all we can, all that is humanly possible, to engage in some level of self-preservation. No man knoweth the hour nor the minute, but we can engage in self-preservation and try and remain as safe as possible and try and be as careful as possible, extra careful, because this is the time of year. Those who have the statistics in relation to road fatalities and related matters, this is the time of year. So we're hoping just to sow a seed of reminder of the times we're living in, to encourage all of us to be even more careful, extra careful, especially at this time of year. And the mood is essential, isn't it? We started out this afternoon with the words of Donna Fargo, make every day special. And so it should be. Yes, there are some days that we have certain observances and celebrations, but we really should live each day and make it the best day of our life, collective life, each day. And if we do that, or the more we do that, the better for all of us. All of us. And of course, you've been listening to this famous Jamaican recording by Joe Gibbs, Let the Christmas Catch You in a Good Mood. Mood is essential in so many things we do and in all our affairs. The program is off and running, and we thank you for joining us. As we get ready to go to a break, let's just quickly greet a few more of you. You know how much we value your input, your participation, your interest. Senary Sims, a very good afternoon to you too. Thank you for tuning in. Ricardo, hello. Leotine Bryan, good afternoon. Thank you for joining us. Diana Watkis Forrester, good to have you on board. She says, good afternoon, Sir Malcolm and the listeners. Coming back after being glued to the trial of Georgia's killers, waiting to see the verdict. Faye Weller says, good afternoon, Mr. Dervan and listeners. Blessings and love to you too, Faye Weller. More in a moment.
You're listening to Power 106 FM. The time is now
2:30. The Scientific Research Council invites you to nominate Jamaican female scientists and technologists as they showcase their scientific achievements and contribution to Jamaica's development in the S&T Extraordinaires JA docuseries and publication. Visit their website src.gov.jm, click on the flyer, then complete the nomination form. Nominations close on Friday, November 30 at 11:59 p.m. SRC's Extraordinaires, celebrating success, inspiring our future.
The craziest sale of the year is now on at ENR Hardware from November 22 to 27. Enjoy extra special discount on BH flat emulsion paint on the gallon until December 31. Make no mistake, ENR Hardware is your place to shop for the best prices, friendliest professional service, and comfortable shopping. ENR Hardware, Lot 16 to 17, Portmore Town Center, 876-988-7485-6. Hurry, hurry, hurry!
This Black Friday, Town City and Home Center has all the best deals for your home and more. Don't miss incredible savings of up to 70% off tiles, faucets, home decor, and more to get your home ready for the holidays. Plus, up to 60% off premium brands like Kohler, Big Fans, and Porcelanosa. Shop and save all week, November 22 to 27 in store or online at tilecityja.com and enjoy lots of prizes and surprises. Tile City and Home Center, your dream home starts here.
Our family and friends are a big part of who we are. And when it comes to keeping you connected to them, Grace Kennedy Money Services Western Union makes it safer and easier. Now friends and family overseas can use the Western Union app or westernunion.com to send money directly to your bank account without leaving home. Receive a Western Union money transfer directly into your bank account with a direct-to-bank service. Register online at gkmsonline.com and share your banking details with your sender so you don't have to leave home to collect.
Let Christmas get you feeling fine. Put on your dancing shoes and come with me tonight. We're gonna rock you broad daylight. All I want for Christmas is a beat to dancing time. If you don't have any money, I will let you have some of mine. Only around and working, now this is my time for fun. If you should feel the same way, just put on your new shoes and come. Let the Christmas get you in a good mood. Let the Christmas get you feeling fine. Put on your dancing shoes and come with me tonight. We're gonna rock till broad daylight. Make the Christmas get you in a good mood.
Thanks a lot for staying with us here on your program, Both Sides of the Story, Power 106 FM, still streaming live on the Gleaners website, go-jamaica.com, live on your smart devices all over the world. Faye Weller says, good afternoon, Mr. Dervan and listeners. Blessings and love. Thank you very much. Faye Weller. Inevitability, says Empire Wallace. One of our long-time listeners. Long time. Good to have you online, Empire Wallace. Ambleton Ray says, greetings, brother man, Dervan. Mark me present day. Me there for the educational, inspirational, and information. Large up yourself, 100 guidance. Thank you, Ambleton Ray, for that warm Jamaican welcome. Lorna Fairweather says, thanks for your emphatic introduction. I absolutely agree. Happy Tuesday to you too, Lorna Fairweather. Thank you very much. Joan in Bermuda says, happy Tuesday, Sir D, and your global audience. Stay safe and have a wonderful day. Thank you very much, Joan in Bermuda, who was recently featured in an interview with Xavier Murphy of Jamaicans.com on life as a Jamaican in Bermuda. Hello to all the Jamaicans in Bermuda tuned in to both sides of the story here on Power 106 FM. Luther Graham says, hello, Sir Malcolm. It's been a while, but as always, I'm present and sitting on the front bench of your class. So keep up the good work. Thank you very much, Luther Graham. All the very best to you. Hello to Diana McIntyre Pike, who is in touch with us as well. Always good to hear from you, Diana McIntyre Pike. Dr. Renee Zazou, who is in UK. We're supposed to be connecting with Dr. Zazou at some point. There's a big event happening in Trenchtown. In fact, the points we made yesterday in relation to Trenchtown got the attention of Bishop Douglas Gooden in Orlando, Florida. And he was the one, Bishop Gooden, who asked us to touch base with Oswald Comrie, otherwise known as Stone Man, in Trenchtown, Big Yard, because he has an interest as well as far as the development of Trenchtown is concerned. And so, with the reference of Bishop Douglas Gooden, let's see if we can get Oswald Comrie on the line as well. While we try to connect our guests on the line, Crocs in Black River is at his sarcastic best. He says, wow, breaking news. The Most Honorable Brogard had to transfer CAP from mining to finance to prevent it from robbing Montague and the board blind. CAP is a renegade, he says, and should be gotten rid of. Thank you very much for your message, Crocs in Black River. We've been calling for the reform of ministries, departments, and agencies in Jamaica. The finance minister has taken steps as far as legislation is concerned in ensuring that those who are appointed to boards are first of all competent. Better yet, first of all, men and women of integrity with the requisite skills, which they would be volunteering, because largely sitting on boards is largely a voluntary position. Public boards, public bodies. And so what we're being reminded of is that this thing can't wait. It has to be fully operational as soon as possible for us to effectively manage our affairs from the standpoint of ministries, departments, and agencies. Thank you for your message, Crocs in Black River. Also online, messaging us from East London, Mark. Welcome, Mark, in East London. Good to have you on board. Miss Pearl says, Sir D, it's a shame what this government and the government before. I can remember they talk about these tinted car glasses and they themselves doing it worse. The law has never been enforced. I'm saying it's a damn shame. Sorry to say it that way. I am tired of talking, really, sir. Sometimes it scares me. A car parked right by my gate, the window's black. Sometimes I say to the person inside, what is this? How I know only engine going. Oh, God help. Who are in authority is a mess themselves. It's horrible what and how these police are treated. Shame, shame, says Miss Pearl. Thank you for your message, Miss Pearl. Yes, the business of tinted motor vehicle windows, etc., that has been an ongoing matter, especially public vehicles, public passenger vehicles, which still leaves the private vehicles to tint as heavily as possible. So that subject will not go away anytime soon. And with respect to the police and the state, we've talked about that already. That, and we're going to move on from there. As we said yesterday, we raised some points with respect to Trenchtown, and lo and behold, Bishop Douglas Gooden was listening. Bishop Douglas Gooden is, apart from being a man of the cloth, as they say, he is also quite a businessman, and one who is very, very keen in playing and has been playing his part in the development not only of Jamaica, but on the continent of Africa. He's Vice President, International Affairs, BHG Associates, Inc. They're strategic consultants. Bishop Gooden, good afternoon. How are you?
My dear beloved brother, we having a good weather here in Orlando, Florida. I'm actually in Kissimmee. Good sunlight, about 68 degrees, and it's a little wind. But it's coming up next 2 days for Thanksgiving, so I'm actually now start the decoration of the house. You have to do that honeydew thing, honeydew this, honeydew that. But I am blessed, brother. I am just so grateful to be online with you in regards to what I call the nucleus of Jamaica music and its empowerment of understanding of what we call Zen reggae around the world.
Yes. Now, we'd love to hear you a little clearer, Bishop. Not sure what you can do on your end in terms of your audio, the volume, but that would...
Can you hear me better now?
Much better, much better. And we thank you. We thank you as well for introducing us to Oswald Stoneman Comrie of the original.
Yeah, man, I'm here, man.
Welcome.
Welcome again, Dervan.
Great. Thank you. Thank you very much for joining us. First of all, Bishop, tell us what struck you to the point where you decided to make the call to say, hey, I heard you yesterday. We need to keep that discussion going. And more than that, to take it to another level with respect to Trenchtown.
Well, Brother Dervan, I started playing music at age 6, the recorder, and then my dear beloved principal, Sir Simon Clark, at age 11 in Green Island, Hanover, let me into what we call them the band. And I learned to play trumpet and read and write for 4 years until I migrated to America. Came back in 1976 and I started my band at Anchovy High. And as a result of that, every band member other than the young lady, now who is a doctor, she's a urologist, all the band member of my little group called Future Win. The drummer now is an international Grammy winner from a group called Inner Circle. And they have a song called Bad Boys, What You Gonna Do? That even has subsequent movies thing with Will Smith. So music has always been my blood. I was introduced to Trenchtown by a brother called Rush Hossein. And when I went out there and I met our dear brother here, we call him Stoneman. And I went into Big Yard and you cannot help to get that what you call that that goosebumps. So this is the place where the great legend himself, Bob Marley, not only live but rehearse and be among everything and write these songs to one of the songs.
Hold on, Bishop. Tell us some more after the break.
You're listening to Power 106 FM. The time is now
2:45. The Scientific Research Council invites you to nominate Jamaican female scientists and technologists as they showcase their scientific achievements and contribution to Jamaica's development in the S&T Extraordinaires JA docuseries and publication. Visit their website src.gov.jm. Click on the flyer, then complete the nomination form. Nominations close on Friday, November 30 at 11:59 p.m. SRC's Extraordinaires, celebrating success, inspiring our future.
The National Irrigation Commission Limited encourages efficient irrigation practices and responsible use of water. By doing so, we will allow the aquifer to be recharged and keep the supply flowing. A message from the National Irrigation Commission Limited. Irrigation, making the difference in agriculture.
Black Friday Mega Madness, Black Friday Mega Madness, Black Friday Mega Madness. We have never had a sale this big. Get ready, Jamaica. This one is massive. November 29th to December 1. It's the Black Friday Mega Madness weekend at Home and Things. Every single item in store is 30 to 80% off this Friday only. And catch the Saturday and Sunday specials too. The Black Friday Mega Madness weekend is on at Home and Things, Old Road and Constant Spring Road. It's a Mega Madness weekend.
Waiting on your receivables, waiting to purchase raw materials to fulfill your next order, waiting to get paid for goods already sold, 60 days, 90 days, invoices way past due. What if you could be insured for up to 85% of your domestic and foreign receivables, so that if you don't get paid on time, your biggest priority, your business, will not have to wait? Trade credit insurance. Insurance worth having. Credit without waiting. Exim Bank. By helping businesses, we save lives and livelihood.
Power Talk on Power 106 FM, finding solutions to the challenges we face in a globalized world. Power Talk, taking talk radio to another level. Join Dr. Herbert Gale on Mondays and Tuesdays and Simon Croskell from Wednesday to Friday as they provide riveting analysis on the issues of the day and speak with stakeholders charged with driving innovation to move Jamaica forward. Tune in for innovative features designed to showcase local developments and highlight how the global issues of the 21st century are being addressed. That's the powerful pair, Dr. Herbert Gale and Simon Croskell on Power Talk, 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. weekdays, right here on Power 106 FM.
Thanks a lot for staying with us here on your program, Both Sides of the Story, Power 106 FM. I'm Dervan Malcolm. Our guests are Bishop Douglas Gooden, who's quite a music aficionado, and also Oswald Comrie, Stoneman out of Trenchtown, who we're going to be hearing from shortly. But Bishop, you were giving us some context. You were giving us some more sense of what the thinking is at this stage, based on how you feel about where Trenchtown is right now and where it should be. I believe you are going on to draw reference to a particular Bob Marley recording.
Yes, that when you hear the word "no woman to cry,"
Help us with the volume again, Bishop.
When you heard, can you hear me?
Yes, you're still sounding distant, though.
How about this, Dr. Malcolm?
Not much different, but let's.
How much different?
There it is. There, right there. Yes, go ahead.
Right there?
Yes, right. Go ahead now, please.
Okay, right. So I was just saying to you, I was even blessed to be part of the last show that Bob Marley did at the Madison Square Garden in New York. And when you hear of all the work Bob Marley done, I was going to Israel and I get off the plane in Turkey, and by the time they see my Jamaica passport, they showed Bob Marley. I was in Israel, everybody. They don't have one of the biggest sound systems in Israel that play reggae music. And when I'm in Trenchtown, when I went to Trenchtown, I met Stoneman, and I in the big yard, and I saw the humility of these brothers that still trying to keep the fire blazing, as Bob Marley said about John B. Parish going through the night. When I listened to your program yesterday, the last 7, 8, 10 minutes before you spoke passionately of the value of Trenchtown, which it is truly has significant value, not only in Trenchtown and Jamaica, but around the world, and what could have been done. I call my dear brother Conway, and he's not only uh, understanding this value, but also mourning for the loss of our dear brother, we call him the Carmi Porridge brother, but also his personal wife. These guys sacrificed to keep Trenchtown in memory alive. So I say to myself, brother, we need to get on to Brother Dervan. He hit something on the head so profound of its value. Now, Trenchtown and the whole Trenchtown experience and Trenchtown history supposed to be taken more serious. I'm calling upon the ministry, our dear sister, what a wonderful job she's doing, Honorable Degree, and those who are involved in the music, including Bob Marley, daughter, Sigdala. I'm very good friends with Bob Marley, nephew, Honorable, we call him, Charles Maris. But we need to make a serious impact and to get to the Trenchtown experience. Not only continue, but take it to the level of, as you have said, if it was another country, man would be lining up to get a bowl of caramel porridge for $10. They will be lining up to sign signatures with our dear brother Stoneman and make Trenchtown to be the place where it gives Jamaica the highlight. Not only does you go to think that reggae music is in Japan, reggae music now is in Africa, but to give a history. And everybody lining up to go up to Uptown to Bob Marley Museum. People forget, before Bob Marley moved uptown, he was in Trenchtown originally with these brothers, which no one is on the line with me. I call him the great one, Stoneman. So, Brother Dervan, I know your time is limited. We need to have a forum of the development or redevelopment and bring the value of Trenchtown. Reggae music has not even tapped into the full value of it as yet. There's so much going on. We just lost, Asta, the lead singer, one of the lead singers from UB40 just a few days ago. And these boys been multi-millionaires of reggae music. So what is going on with these brothers who are the original members? And Stoneman will tell you that is just living off the fumes of people that show love to him, even though trying to bury his wife is like a struggle. These men should not be suffering, Dervan Malcolm, and with the heavy legacy and history they have. So I am honored, brother, to be on the line with this brother. And I thank you for giving us this platform, Dervan.
Sure. No, hold it there as we bring in Oswald Comrie, otherwise known as Stoneman. Thank you very much for joining us.
Yes, Derval. Give thanks again, man.
Yeah, so we've been talking about the regeneration of Trenchtown and how Trenchtown is too rich to be so poor, to borrow an expression from as one who is on the ground and has been around for some time. Why do you think it's so difficult or appears to be so hard to mobilize the kind of development that is necessary to the development of Trenchtown?
Not never done before the right time, Derval. Yeah. A long way we are come. I come from, we up on this program from Ling and Company.
Yes, true.
When Ling bring you down forward down to Culture Yard, that time we just early start the journalism in them time there.
Yes, true.
When Ling bring you down twice, Stoneman.
Yes.
Well, Stoneman really come from Trenchtown just like how Bob Marley don't come from Trenchtown.
Yes.
But the Almighty were inspired us to be a part of the family of Trenchtown. Mm-hmm. What it takes for Trenchtown is one of the most indigenous community in Jamaica. And what many people don't know and realize about Trenchtown is who govern Jamaica. And all of who you hear from jazz and blues, ska, Rocksteady, you name it, from all of those that comes out of Trenchtown, none of those musicians do not give back a contribution to Trenchtown to make Trenchtown be a better Trenchtown. It's friends and families who know the importance of Trenchtown that keep up Trenchtown up on this moment right now. And right now, at this time, right now, we give thanks to Revelation 2 from verse 1 to the end. Give thanks that the Revelation 2 verse 17 speak of the hidden manner. And give thanks to the Almighty for us as the family who govern that scripture from start to finish. That's how I get forward the name Stoneman.
Oh.
Stoneman is a fulfillment of Revelation. We are the sons and daughters who go through long pain and suffering to tell the story just like it is. Everything, Dervan, that I talk about for Trenchtown, it's written on the rockstone from the earth naturally. The footprint of what we must go forward and what we must do to move forward, for develop Trenchtown and to move forward, that is what we're doing now. We have been doing this and we're proud to see how far we reach. I'm proud to see our achievement of what we achieved for the past 24 years I've been in Trenchtown, and I'm very proud to see the great achievement of what we achieved from the family of Trenchtown without no legal support.
Yeah, and you've been doing a lot, notwithstanding the paucity of resources. But how have you been able to keep whatever aspects or elements of culture and heritage and music that remain in Trenchtown? How are you able to keep it going and to eke out a living in that environment?
Well, in that environment, so to speak, you see, most of the people of Trenchtown were self-reliant people. And we do numbers of things within business for keep up our economics and keep our values within our community. Mm-hmm. Yeah?
Yeah.
And we is one of the biggest heritage sites that is in Jamaica, that is in Trenchtown.
True.
We give thanks for the few that remember us, that passed through, that we could maintain the community, and that we could be able to maintain the community of our own. How we do it, we don't know, but we do it spiritually, and we're getting through, and we're getting close. Because right now, we are on the move. We are from not just the Caribbean, but we are also connected to the motherland.
Yes.
When you talk about repatriation, reparation, and stuff like that, Trenchtown is the headquarters for all of what you can think of to Africa, after offer to Africa, because Trenchtown has set the platform. Trenchtown does not just Trenchtown. Trenchtown liberate Zimbabwe and liberate a whole lot of countries over there that by our music. Trenchtown go and set that example in Zimbabwe, for example.
Right.
And not only just in Zimbabwe, Trenchtown set that example. Trenchtown set that example within Ethiopia.
Mm-hmm.
That land of what His Majesty have granted for us children in the West. You have a mother from Trenchtown that represents us through the Naya Bingiada. Her name is Baby I, and his kingman is Kongoraki, and they represent us to Ethiopia as an elder. So when you see that platform of what we is on now, Dervan, it's very majestic. We can't talk about so much about the African connection, but our connection is moving forward to set a better example to make the rest of Caribbean and the rest of Jamaica can have a good life.
Yes,
through
indeed.
the Trenchtown Trust.
Right.
We well organized. We have the Trenchtown Development Association, we have the Trenchtown Trust, and we have other more groups of intelligence that is in the community that plays a great interest within Trenchtown at this time, Dervan. Trenchtown is not something that we can talk about, but Trenchtown can talk about the lifestyle of what we live.
All right, hold it right there. We're going to come back and wrap in a moment with you, Stoneman, and of course, Bishop Douglas Gooden.
You're listening to Power 106 FM. The time is now
3 o'clock.
I want for Christmas is a beat to dancing time. If you don't have any money, I will let you have some of mine. All year round, been working. Now this is my time for fun. If you should feel the same way, just put on your new shoes and come. Let the Christmas get you in a good mood. Let the Christmas get you feeling fine. Put on your dancing shoes and come with me tonight. We're gonna run till broad daylight. Make the Christmas get you in a good mood. Make the Christmas get you feeling fine. Put on your dancing shoes and come with me tonight. Gonna rock till broad daylight. Yeah.
Thanks a lot for staying with us here on your program, Both Sides of the Story, Power 106 FM. I'm Dervan Malcolm. We've just been picking up on or piggybacking on a discussion, however you look at it, picking up on a discussion that we started yesterday. And one of our guests online, Bishop Douglas Gooden, who is quite a music aficionado himself, he found it to be quite instructive and gave us a call to say, hey, we need to talk some more on this, and I want to add my voice to it. And so we're happy to have had Bishop Gooden online as well. We're happy to have him online, and for him to reconnect us with Oswald Stoneman Comrie, who we met some years ago when Tony Leng hosted Leng and Company in Trenchtown.
Yes.
Right.
Dervan, let me just close off and say this, and this is the truth. Take, for instance, the Bob Marley family / the Bob Marley Foundation. That is, other than Elvis Presley and Michael Jackson, bringing in per year the most value in financial reward. Let's say that family even say, we're going to give back 1% to Trenchtown and to Culture Yard and for the redevelopment and the preservation. Trenchtown would have been the greatest thing and can be the greatest thing. We do have a brother, I need to be honest, Dr. Hedley Mark, and he's in Trenchtown. He's providing jobs for the citizens. But there's so much more need to be done. And with Brother Comrie, and we call him the Stone Man, and everybody else, Russ Hussein and the brothers down there, Ziggy Soul, we need now to have a bigger platform of Jamaica and Jamaicans in the diaspora to understand the value of Trenchtown, its foundation, where it's coming from, and where we are to go. We are enjoying Jamaica and its tourism. And have you noticed, even in Negril, you go to Negril, everywhere down the 7 miles of Negril Sand, tourists is walking around with bread here and chanting Rasta music and all them call it. And everybody wants to be part of the whole reggae culture. But what is the Jamaica Tourist Board? What is the Bob Marley Foundation? What is all the singers and players of instruments that has passed through Trenchtown, and most of them now are living a lavish life up there in Norwood and Cherry Garden and all over the globe? Can they come back and be a blessing to Trenchtown? I think the time is now, Dr. Malcolm. Let me say in my closing, I have a lot of respect and gratitude for my dear brother on the line. And Brother Stoneman, my humblest and deepest condolences to you as you're getting ready to bury your wife, and you have made sacrifice so much for your family just to maintain the preservation of Trenchtown. God bless you, my dear brother. God bless you, Dr. Malcolm, and may Trenchtown and his heritage live forever. I am Bishop Gooden.
Thank you, Bishop. And let me use this opportunity to convey on behalf of the team here at Power 106 FM our sadness at the passing of your wife, Stoneman. Sorry to hear that.
Yes, yes, sir.
Hmm. And yes, as
We
well.
just lose Georgie just the other day. We have lost Georgie, which is a great one, you know.
Yes.
And to see Bob Marley sing about Georgie and to see Georgie really boil the cornmeal porridge and give to I and I drink the cornmeal porridge. And right go Greenwich Farm, buy the fish and come boil the fish tea for me, and bake pudding for me. And to know that Bob Marley sing about this great man and to know this man for myself, he's like a father to I am like a son to Georgie. And I really give thanks to see what the Trenchtown family, what we all do together.
Yes.
And what we have done for the Trenchtown family, we put on a thing together for George, and it was very wonderful.
Right. And I gather there's you know anything about the event that is happening towards the end of the year in Trenchtown, a big music concert.
Yes, I heard of this Trenchtown band. He's away, and he would love to do something for his community.
Yeah, Dr. Rene Zazu.
Dr. Rene.
Yeah.
He want to not only just play one role, but he want to do numbers I think for his community.
Yeah, that's good. Well, that's the kind of example that you need, and more people who identify with Trenchtown and what Trenchtown has meant to them and what Trenchtown has done for them, giving back to the community or paying it forward.
Yeah. That is it, you know, Soleng. That's why I said the start of what we have been doing now. It's very majestic. It is not nothing that we can talk about, but it's something that we can work together collectively and bring out the betterment of Jamaica. Not just Trenchtown, but the betterment of Jamaica.
Well, we look forward to providing a platform here on both sides of the story on Power 106 FM to follow up on developments in and around Trenchtown. And let's keep in touch going forward just to make sure we're on top of things.
Yes, Dervan. I must give thanks to Michael Smith, which is the chairperson for the Trenchtown Trust.
Yes.
We give thanks that he was away and he's back with us. And he's fully ready to go forward with the development of Trenchtown. He make his life, he dedicate his soul and his heart to the Trenchtown community.
Well, that is encouraging news. Thanks a lot, Stoneman. We'll be in touch.
Okay, Dervan, and the rest of Jamaica, thanks very much.
Yes, yes, Bishop, go ahead.
And just a note, today is the celebration of our dear, beloved Jamaica, Queen of Reggae, the songstress, Marcia Griffiths. Happy birthday, Marcia Griffiths, and for your contribution towards reggae music. And even she was part of the great band, Bob Marley and the Wailers. She was the backup singer with our dear sister Judy Mowat and Rita Marley. Marcia Griffiths, happy birthday to you, Angel.
Indeed. We join you in conveying birthday greetings. She's younger than I thought. About 72, is it? 70?
Yes. I look like 22.
All right. Thank you both very much. Thank you.
Appreciate
You're most welcome, sir.
All right. Take care. All the best. Bye-bye. Bishop Douglas Gooden alongside Oswald Stoneman Comrie, adding their voices to the call for the regeneration of Trenchtown, the richest place in Jamaica. I mean, Port Royal aside, in a manner of speaking. So much wealth in Trenchtown, and Trenchtown has given the world so much. And just being unable to harness that, to nurture that, to translate that into development, into production, productivity, marketing, showcasing. It's industry. Can you imagine the number of industries that could come out of that? We don't even want to get started on that again, because then we won't be able to touch on anything else for the rest of the afternoon. But we're happy to reconnect. We do remember the days of Tony Leng, when Tony Leng arranged for us to broadcast from Trenchtown, and apparently Oswald Stoneman Comrie was involved from that time and even before, long before that time. And it's good to have reconnected with him this afternoon, along with Bishop Douglas Gooden. Good afternoon to Golden Brown. Thank you very much for joining us. Jacqueline Simmons has joined us as well. Welcome. Sophia Nemard, good afternoon. She says hi to, this looks like Uoni, Uonie, Uoni. Hi to Uoni and Dad. They listen to you every evening. She likes when you ask the question, do you know where your children are? Well, hello to Uoni and to your dad, Sophia Nemard, in Newell in St. Elizabeth, and everybody else in Newell, St. Elizabeth. Thank you very much for joining us. Natalie Winter has joined us as well. She's in Washington Gardens of the Boulevard. And Miss Pearl has sent us a rejoinder. She says, God bless you, Sir D. I believe that blessings are truly coming from the heart of that man. You're a great blessing to this land, Jamaica. Please do not take your work lightly. You're very kind, Miss Pearl. Thank you very much for your message on WhatsApp. And all the very best to you. And let's see. Hello to our friends at Black River High School. In touch with us as usual, Mrs. Eileen Davis Watson. Good afternoon to you. And yes, all things being well, we look forward to your 2022 edition of Step into the Future, that program of enhancement for your students at Black River High School. We look forward to playing our part as usual. Thank you very much. Let's go to the text line now, 876-365-3346. This one says, good day, Dervan. Hats off to the Jamaican police. Much respect. I would not want your job even for $1 million a day. You are disrespected and paid almost peanuts. Plus you have to contend with the savages on our roads and in our communities. You deserve much better. Thank you very much for your message. So this contributor to the program is in solidarity with the police as they continue to be at war with the state at a time when the state and its people need to be united in the war against crime and violence. What a tragedy. What a tragedy. Let's continue. We did tell you that as far as we're concerned, today is Mary Seacole Day. She was born on this day some 216 years ago. Why do we call her the Great Mary Seacole? Born in Jamaica more than 200, well, just about exactly 216 years ago. She was born during the period when many black people in the Caribbean were forced to work as slaves. Although Mary's mother was black, her father, James Grant, was a white Scottish Army officer, and Mary was born a free person. She had a sister, Louisa, and a brother, Edward. She was learning to use traditional medicine. Her mother ran a lodging house called Blundell Hall, which was much respected by local people in Kingston, Jamaica's capital city. Let's tell you some more about the great Mary Seacole, who would be 216 years old today.
Come with me tonight.
Knowledge is power. Class is in session. Power 106.
You're listening to Power 106 FM. The time is now
3:15.
Hardware shoppers! Stuart's Hardware is at it again on Monday, December 6th and Tuesday, December 7th. Enjoy 2 whole days of super savings, huge discounts, and more. Plus, you don't have to come in store. Simply request a quote from our website at stuartshardware.com or send us a message on WhatsApp, Facebook, or Instagram with your order, name, and contact information, and we will process your order during the sale days. We're always giving the best value at Stuart's Hardware. The customer comes first.
All I want for Christmas is a beat to dancing time. If you don't have any money, I will let you have some.
Thanks a lot for staying with us here on your program, Both Sides of the Story, Power 106 FM. Let's go back to the great Mary Seacole, who was born on this day 216 years ago. Her mother, as we were saying before going to the break, ran a lodging house called Blundell Hall, which was much respected by local people in Kingston, Jamaica's capital city. But she was also a healer, and she taught Mary many of her skills using traditional Jamaican medicine. A keen student from early childhood, Mary practiced medicine on her doll, dogs, and cats, and on herself. Here's what she wrote in her autobiography. It was very natural that I should inherit her tastes, and so I had from early youth a yearning for medical knowledge and practice which never deserted me. And I was very young when I began to make use of the little knowledge I had acquired from watching my mother upon great sufferer, my doll, and whatever disease was most prevalent in Kingston, be sure my poor doll soon contracted it. By 1818, those were the words of Mary Seacole herself. Let's continue the story. By 1818, aged 12, Mary helped run the boarding house where many of the guests were sick or injured soldiers. 3 years later, she traveled to England with relatives and stayed for about a year. It was an opportunity to acquire knowledge about modern European medicine, which supplemented her training in traditional Caribbean techniques. In 1823, Mary went to London on her own, remaining there for 2 years. She experienced racist comments while in London. She describes herself as only a little brown, but her friend was very dark, so London boys made fun of their complexions. However, Mary's companion was hot-tempered, and because there were no police officers around, it was quite eventful. During 1825, her travels included Cuba, Haiti, and the Bahamas, returning to Kingston in 1826 to nurse her patroness in a long illness. Mary married Edwin Horatio Hamilton Seacole on the 10th of November, 1836. They set up a store in Black River, but Edwin became unwell and delicate, so Mary would nurse him as best as she could. Sadly, Edwin died in 1844, followed closely by the death of her mother. These deaths devastated Mary. But in 1850, she nursed victims of the Kingston cholera epidemic. Yes, another reminder that we had a cholera epidemic in Jamaica in 1850. In fact, where Fontana Pharmacy is established, right there along Waterloo, that's regarded as the old cholera cemetery, actually, right there. In 1850, Mary nursed victims of the Kingston cholera epidemic, traveling to Panama in 1851 only to find that her skills were needed once again because the town of Cruces was suffering its own outbreak of the disease. Mary reports saving her first cholera patient in Cruces by using mustard emetics to make the patient vomit, warm cloths to combat chills, So listen to how she dealt with this epidemic. Listen to how Mary Seacole dealt, how she saved her first cholera patient in Cruces in Panama. What did she use? Mustard emetics to make the patient vomit, warm cloth to combat chills, mustard plasters on the stomach and the back, calomel or mercury chloride, at first in large, then in gradually smaller doses. In 1853, Mary returned to Kingston caring for victims of Mary returned to Kingston caring for victims of a yellow fever epidemic. She was invited by the medical authorities to supervise nursing services at Up Park Camp. That's where the soldiers are, Up Park Camp, which at that time was the British Army's headquarters, and she reorganized New Blundell Hall, her mother's former lodging house, rebuilt after a fire to function as a hospital. Mary had no children of her own, but the strong maternal attachments she formed with these soldiers and her feelings for them would later drive Mary to the Crimea. We'll come back and tell you a bit more of that story, especially as it relates to the Crimean War and Mary Seacole's role as we mark the 216th anniversary of her birth today. Let's go to the phone lines in the meantime. 876-922-4112-5. Good afternoon. Thanks for calling.
Mr. Malcolm, good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon.
I'm enjoying the history here, sir.
Happy to hear that.
Yes, and I'm going to bring back your attention. I don't know if you know about the way back style in Westmoreland where we used to plant a lot of rice.
I've read that. I've read that both in the archives and in the book on Westmoreland. There's a book on Westmoreland which I have at home. Yes.
Yes. And have you heard about the ship that sailed that washed out in the Great George Street from a tidal wave back in the 1800s?
That was during a massive earthquake. Not earthquake. It was a hurricane.
Yes, and that ship.
Mm-hmm.
But back in the days in Westmoreland, the guys used to plant the rice.
Yes.
And then they would weed out the area, all the.
Hold on, you were around at that time?
Yes, man.
Oh, you're older than I thought.
Well, yes. and they will use the cow dung and mix with the water and cover all the area.
Oh dear. Cow dung.
Yes.
Mm.
The cow feces.
Yes, I know.
Yes, and it will be done by the ladies, And then they would cut the rice.
Yes.
And they would set it in a round area.
Mm-hmm.
And then the men at night would come and beat off the rice off with stick, And they'll be dancing and singing songs, while Kirsten Pan will be cooking with food.
What? That sounds like fun.
It was a lot of fun because I used to enjoy it as a boy,
Mm-hmm.
And that bit of history is gone forever,
Yes. Yes, indeed. I noticed, I think there was an attempt relatively recently to grow rice. I don't remember where now, though, in recent times. I don't remember if it was when Christopher Tufton was agriculture minister.
Yes.
But that didn't go anywhere.
Not at all.
Mm.
But during the time of Edward Siaga, they had a rice project down there, and they had the one mill.
Okay.
So, and then he implemented the purge fish into the country. So the people would plant the rice and the government buy the rice from them.
Oh.
And then they would go and fish and catch fish,
So was it like, what was the quantity like? I mean, was it a lot of rice? I know we consume a lot of rice in Jamaica, about 100,000 tons of rice a year, I think.
It was a lot of rice because there's many different people. So the community would move along to everybody who have rice to beat off the vine, Oh. So it's a popular thing there. And then you used to have an Indian fellow run by a place in Bay Road who had the rice mill. So he would charge a fee to mill the rice for people.
I would love to see how that is done. That sounds quite fascinating.
It was quite fascinating. Mr. Combs should know about that,
Yes.
Yes.
We haven't heard from Mr. Combs in a long time.
Yes. But it was a lot of fun those days, Yes. And I'm saying we're not going to see that kind of thing going on.
We thank you. You brought it to life a while ago. I could feel the energy and in your voice.
And the thing about it, sir, those days you see community team spirit.
Yes, you had to work together.
Yes.
Yes.
And then sometimes, a person who plant cane, they will have other people come and help them for a day.
Mm-hmm.
And then they do back the favor.
There's a name for that. Do you remember the name? What's the name for that? Where they do it with grave digging as well.
Yes, I don't remember the name.
Somebody will remember and tell us soon.
Yes. And it was grave digging because a lot of people, they would come and dig the grave and they want their rum, You have to have the rum.
Yes,
here,
because you have to. I don't want to say. Let's just say you had to feed the spirits.
Yes, indeed.
Yes.
But those days was quite fascinating. And then when people died, every night then they would have a setup and people would come and they would
every night.
Yes, every night, and they would cook and they would sing, But the last night of the setup, they would have they call it gere. So people would do greater and the pot cover and make nice, play music while they're singing.
And there's a dance that comes with that. The dance is called Gary as well, isn't it?
Yes.
Yeah.
Those were fascinating times.
Yes, indeed.
But I just wanted to bring back your memory to some of those things.
No, I appreciate that. Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
My pleasure.
All the best.
Yes. All right, Mr. Malcolm. You have a good evening.
You too. Take care. This is your program, Both Sides of the Story, Power 106 FM. Hello, good afternoon. Thanks for calling.
Good afternoon, Dervan.
Hi, how are you? It's been a long time. Where have you been?
Yeah, man, I mean, long time I tried it in Florida,
Oh, you're back in Florida?
Yeah.
Yeah, because you were in the hills of St. Anne as well, weren't you?
Of course.
So you've shaken the dust of St. Anne off your feet now?
Not real Metal Center. I work for London gentleman, Dr. Grayson, Union Villages and Grandson Villages and properties owned by me.
Yes. Anyway, you called. What's on your mind this afternoon?
Encourage Jamaicans. We're not even deal with the deep political issue. Things like COVID-19 vaccines. Not supposed to be JLP, not PMP, not supposed to be the main pitch. It's supposed to be the health department.
And you would know that because you have been in public health in Florida, haven't you?
I'm not currently working, but
in terms of sanitation and that kind of thing.
Yeah, man. Once you're trained as a public health inspector in Jamaica, and I have the said qualification in America, licensed in New Jersey, you're like a doctor, like a lawyer. You're that forever.
Right.
So
what you're encouraging people? Go ahead with the words of encouragement.
The philosophy of public health was that it should never be placed on the direct government control because of its importance to society. That means people who support PMP, people who support JLP, UIC, NDM, no P, public health apply to all humans.
All of us, you're right.
Yes, so the prime minister or the leader of opposition, only 38% or so voted in the last election.
Or was it 32?
Or whatever, low figure. And the intention for we to be completely safe as a people is to have 75 to 80% of the population vaccinated, so we can then it would be early immunity. And when the prime minister is telling things like you won't treat people at the hospital, I think that's not public health aid. You can turn back no sick body.
No, I mean we always when reference is made to how our leaders express themselves, we always like to hearken to what former Prime Minister P.J. Patterson said. Some time ago, I was watching on Primetime News and he was speaking. He said, when you occupy certain positions, you give up freedom of speech. You're not free to just run your mouth and to say any old thing. When you occupy certain positions, you must give up, of necessity, you must give up freedom of speech. And therefore, having said that, the state has a duty to see to the needs of its people. That is unconditional. One moment, please.
You contribute directly to Jamaica's national development when you pay your customs duties. Let's all do our part in keeping the wheels of our economy turning. The time by the Jamaica Customs Agency is
3:30.
Thanks for holding. Yes, it is a fact. Whether governments all over the world want to accept this or not, they have a duty to see to the needs of their people. And where their people are not managing on their own, the state steps in. That's how it's usually done. Are you there? Hello?
Yes, I'm here, Dervan. I'm encouraging the folks to go get vaccinated because all the vaccination work, and I don't lie about stuff. I'm a scientist. I can tell you, I have all the science subjects from I was 15-year-old at Ferncourt High School when people used to graduate at 21. Chemistry, physics, bio, human and social, bio, and maths, English, or J plus JSC, etc.
Mm-hmm.
So no guy know it more than me. No guy we a doctor now at the public health. They must know it as me. And I'm telling you, it make vaccines prevent disease. There amongst in my life history and what I teach the classes whether in Jamaica when I was working at MPM. I'm the chief lecturer in Kingston, Ken Catch in Portmore. I'm a good public health speaker from a long time. I teach all the classes when I was working in New Jersey at City of Newark, food safety classes, and I always talk about vaccines. It's the best medicine. They prevent you from coming down with the disease. It's not that you cannot come in contact with the disease. It's the very reason why we make the vaccines, because you might come in contact with the disease. So your body is in a clinic with a different. It's made either from live virus or bacteria. The vaccine is not just against viral diseases, it's against bacterium, etc. You have tuberculosis, which is caused by mycobacterium, and other diseases caused by virus, etc. Spirochete, and a little is in your body, so your body, those are antigens, is a foreign agent. So if you come in contact with a full dose, your body will be able to
fight back.
The body, yes, that will eat the dose of COVID or say TB, mycobacterium that come into you and prevent you from coming down with the full disease.
Right.
Your body is able to fight back. You understand? So go and get vaccinated for a politician. It's to your own good. You don't need no incentive than for your own body health.
Your message is quite clear. Thank you very much for sharing.
Have the best day, that guy.
Take care. This is your program, Both Sides of the Story. Power 106 FM, still streaming live on the Cleaners website, go-jamaica.com on this, the 216th anniversary of the birth of the great Mary C. Cole. We did promise to take you to the Crimea, Crimea, and I believe that area, this place came into, it was in the news a few years ago. It's been a while now, but a few years ago, when Vladimir Putin was looking to flex his muscles, and this is the area, Crimea. It's described as a peninsula of Ukraine, which lies between the Sea of Azov, AZOV, or it could be Azov as well, and the Black Sea. So the Crimea is a peninsula of Ukraine lying between the Sea of Azov and the Black Sea. It was the scene of the Crimean War in the 1850s. The majority of the population is Russian. So this was I would imagine that's what emboldened Vladimir Putin to flex his muscles in a controlling way over the people of the area. But so this area, the Crimean War took place in the Crimea, Crimea, and that lasted from October 1853 until February 1856. It was fought by a coalition including Britain against the Russian Empire. So how did Mary Seacole feature in this now? Mary Seacole traveled to England and approached the British War Office asking to be sent as an army nurse to the Crimea, where she had heard there were poor medical facilities for wounded soldiers. But guess what? She was refused. They turned her down. We don't need your help. That's what they told Mary Seacole. Can you imagine? A war is raging in the Crimea, and instead of staying put, Mary Seacole decides to try to travel to, well, she traveled to England to try and get permission from the British War Office to allow her to go and help the poor, the wounded soldiers in the Crimea. But they told her no. So what did she do? Mary Seacole virtually sold everything she had and in order to pay for her trip to Crimea, which is now part of the Ukraine. And it's two different scenarios, but this is not too far away. It's part of a tradition. That tradition continues when you consider that Jamaicans in the diaspora have paid their way to come to Jamaica to help Jamaicans on the front lines. So there are Jamaican nurses and doctors who live in the United States and elsewhere who paid their way to come to Jamaica, and since October, I think since the 17th of October, they have been working at Savannah Lamar Hospital in Westmoreland, and they will continue working up to December, I think up to the 17th of December. So it's quite a tradition that they're following. If we, now that we're taking you back to the Crimea, where Mary Seacole essentially sold all her belongings to fund her own trip to the Crimea, which is now part of the Ukraine, where she established the British Hotel with Thomas Day, a relative of her husband, Edwin. The hotel provided a place of respite for sick and recovering soldiers. At the time, Mary Seacole was very well known. She was as well known in Britain as Florence Nightingale. Miss Nightingale's famous military hospital was situated hundreds of miles from the front line in Scutari, now called Uskudar, just outside the Turkish city of Istanbul. But Mary Seacole's hotel near Balaclava was much closer to the fighting. Yes, there is a place in St. Elizabeth called Balaclava. Balaclava refers to that, I think it's a headgear worn by soldiers. And Mary Seacole and her husband lived in Balaclava, lived in St. Elizabeth. And there is a connection, the naming of that part of St. Elizabeth as Balaclava, which is the same name of the area where Mary Seacole set up her, she had to disguise it as a hotel, but it was really a hospital because she didn't get permission to be there. And she was so committed to helping the wounded in that war that she paid her way to get there. And so she wanted to be closer to the fighting. Can you imagine? I wonder if it's a Jamaican thing. In Jamaica, you remember at school and elsewhere, fight, 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 and everybody running towards the fight as opposed to running away. And the same thing with gunshots in Jamaica. You would think that we'd be running away. There are those of us who run towards the direction where the gunshot is coming from. Can you believe that? I'm not saying Mary Seacole had anything to do with that, but I'm just saying she positioned herself close to where the fighting was taking place in the Crimea, and she was able to visit the battlefield, sometimes under fire, yes, sighting gunshots, to nurse the wounded. Indeed, she nursed 6 soldiers so kindly that they called her Mother Seacole. That's how they referred to her. So that when the war ended, Mary Seacole went back to Britain with very little money. She was essentially broke. Soldiers wrote letters to newspapers praising what she had done. The Times war correspondent Sir William H. Russell wrote of Mary in 1857, "I trust that England will not forget one who nursed her sick, who sought out her wounded to aid and succor them, and who performed the last offices for some of her illustrious dead." All those who admired her came to her aid, whether soldiers, generals, or members of the royal family. In 1857, a fundraising gala was held for her over 4 nights on the banks of the River Thames. Now listen to this, because we're coming with a connection now. Fundraising gala held in honor of Mary Seacole, who was broke by the time she got back to England. So this fundraiser was held over 4 nights on the banks of the River Thames. And that's Thames, the H is silent, the River Thames. Over 80,000 people attended Mary Seacole's fundraising gala. More than 80,000 people attended. And that same year, she published her autobiography, The Wonderful Adventures of Mrs. Seacole in Many Lands. That was the name of the book. The Wonderful Adventures of Mrs. Seacole in Many Lands, which became an instant bestseller. Mary Seacole died in London in 1881. Unfortunately, she was then lost to history for around 100 years until nurses from the Caribbean visited her grave in northwest London, where the local MP, now who became Lord Clive Soley, promised to raise money for a statue for Mary. In 2004, Mary was voted the greatest Black Briton. Did you hear that? Mary Seacole in 2004 was voted the greatest Black Briton. Lord Soley launched the campaign for a statue after leaving the House of Commons. In 2016, the statue was finally unveiled on the grounds of St. Thomas's Hospital on London's South Bank. And what a pleasure and a privilege it was for us to have visited. We went to St. Thomas's Hospital on London's South Bank, and we did take a few pictures with Mary Seacole's statue. In fact, Facebook reminded me that 5 years ago, was it 5? How long ago was it? That's where I was, standing at the statue of Mary Seacole and having my picture taken there. Her legacy is continued by the Mary Seacole Trust, MST, which, as well as maintaining the statue, aims to educate and inform the public about the life, work, and achievements of the great Mary Seacole, ensuring that she's never again lost to history. Mary Seacole is a great role model. Her values of good citizenship, she always wanted to help the sick and wounded, entrepreneurship, her drive took her to the Crimea under her own steam, and achievement, she remains one of history's greatest figures. The great Mary Seacole. Happy to have been able to share that story with you. Now, speaking of story, we mentioned earlier on, we were talking about Trenchtown and the fact that Trenchtown is too rich to be so poor. And we really mean that. It is a fact. Well, it's not only Trenchtown, because yesterday we also referenced Port Royal. Port Royal. You would think by now Port Royal would be this fantastic attraction with underwater devices and systems and vessels, etc. Well, listen to this. 2001. In 2001, the development project for Port Royal was first approved by Cabinet. The development project for Port Royal was first approved by Cabinet in 1995. 1995. One moment, please.
Knowledge is power. Class is in session. Power 106.
You're listening to Power 106 FM. The time is now
3:45.
Black Friday Mega Madness. Black Friday Mega Madness. Black Friday Mega Madness. We have never had a sale this big. Get ready, Jamaica. This one is massive. November 29th to December 1. It's the Black Friday Mega Madness weekend at Home and Things. Every single item in store is 30 to 80% off this Friday only. And catch the Saturday and Sunday specials too. The Black Friday Mega Madness weekend is on at Home and Things, Polo Road and Constant Spring Road. It's a Mega Madness weekend.
All year round, been working. Now this is my time to find. If you should feel the same way, just put on your new shoes and let the Christmas get you in a good mood. Let the Christmas get you feeling fine. Put on your dancing shoes and come with me tonight. We're gonna rock till broad daylight. Make the Christmas get you in a good mood.
Thanks a lot for staying with us here on your program, Both Sides of the Story, Power 106 FM. Still streaming live on the Gleaners website, go-jamaica.com. Live on your smart devices all over the world. Taking your calls on 876-922-4112-5. 876-922-4112-5. Let's take a look. We were just making the point of how we have these gold mines in Jamaica and they continue to lie fallow. We mentioned and we have talked about Trenchtown, and yesterday we also mentioned Port Royal, and we were telling you a short while ago before the break that the development project for Port Royal, first approved by cabinet, was first approved by the cabinet in 1995. So the development project for Port Royal, first approved by cabinet 6 years earlier in 1995, and on which millions of dollars had been spent in the planning stage, was put on hold. The announcement was made by Chairman of the Urban Development Corporation, Dr. Vin Lawrence, on this day in 2001. Dr. Lawrence blamed investor pullback from the project on crime in the corporate area. So apparently, the crime situation in Jamaica was the main reason why the development of Port Royal did not go forward. That's essentially what the then chairman of the Urban Development Corporation, Dr. Vin Lawrence, said. Dr. Lawrence blamed investor pullback from the project on crime in the corporate area. He said, following consultations with financial advisors, Citibank, on reactions from the market, a decision was made to curtail expenditure on the project. The Port Royal development was an attempt to recreate the historic city through a theme park featuring a simulation of the earthquake and a recreated 17th century Port Royal underwater city. The project was first approved by cabinet in 1995. Robert Stevens, who first proposed the project, said further discussions were to take place. Can you believe that? And Port Royal continues to lie fallow. We have that rich history, that rich heritage, and we haven't been able to earn a cent from it. What a tragedy. What a tragedy. And I gather from the history as well that when Norman Manley was premier and when Bustamante was prime minister, they were both approached about transforming Port Royal into some kind of a theme park from as early as then, from way back then. and still nothing. Let's continue with more on your program, Both Sides of the Story, Power 106 FM. Hello, good afternoon. Thanks for calling.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
And may I say this is the first time I'm calling your program, but I listen it quite regularly.
Thanks for calling.
And I'm really impressed, you know.
Thank you.
The feedback that you get from the various persons who call in the program, both locally and overseas, and it shows the great interest that one still holds for Jamaica, notwithstanding the various problems which we are confronted with.
True.
I was really, what should I call it, in awe when I heard the guest you had on the program, Stoneman and
Bishop Douglas Gooden.
Bishop Douglas Gooden, and focusing naturally on Trenchtown. And it brings back a lot of memories. I was born in Trenchtown, but I didn't really grow up there. But I went down there roughly about, I think it was in the early 70s. That could be about 1974 up to about 76. And it was most interesting in what I learned down there in respect to the citizens, you know, from that era, from First Street in particular. I met Georgie.
Oh, you did?
Yeah. And I was just in awe because Georgie was just a friendly person. Delightful, always smiling and what have you, know. I really regret I didn't get any of the porridge. But nonetheless,
yes,
you know, and, you know, and did I hear that he passed recently?
Sadly, yes, he did.
So rest in peace. And of course, I heard when Stoneman mentioned about whatever development has been brought to the area, or the lack of it thereof. He did mention a good friend of mine who worked at the same place. I think he spent some time in England, and as he said, he had returned. Michael Smith.
Yes, he did mention Michael Smith.
Yes, my good friend. And I'm glad I listened to the program because I have to get a connection to him if he's even through Stoneman.
Yes, you should. Yes.
So what I'm going to do,
we have Stoneman's number. We can give it to you after. I can have the program assistant give you the number off air.
I'd appreciate that.
No problem.
But as you mentioned that, and in fact Stoneman mentioned it, we're a number of persons of high standing, born and grew in Trenchtown, but for some reason them fail to, what should I call it, admit and to recognize the area from which they came.
Yeah, they've shaken the dust of Trenchtown off their feet.
I remember years ago I was talking to there were two sisters, and this was like about in the early 70s, naturally, when I went back down there. And she mentioned, she asked me what year I came from in Kingston. I told her I was born in Trenchtown, but I really didn't grow up there. And she said, and then she mentioned a era in Kingston. I can't remember it, you know. And what she was saying, that a lot of persons of high standing, you know, fail to give back to the area that they come from and help to develop those areas, you know, which is really true, as Stoneman did mention.
Yes.
You know, and I wouldn't be surprised in hearing that the late Tony Leng did go in Trenchtown, because he's that kind of person, you know.
Yes.
You know, I used to listen to his program quite regularly too. You know, he always talking about this company
called Jamaica.
Right? You know, and as I said, the last time I went down there, I think it was Michael's brother, I can't remember his last name, who had passed, and I went down there to the funeral service. They set up this big tent over the park. Of course, the MP was there, Omar Davis, and quite a number of persons, you know. But it is good that at least some attention is being brought about, you know, by persons, and in some cases, persons who never even born and grow in that area.
Yes.
You know, but I was taken aback sometime that I heard like the minister of tourism, the current minister, had planned to do some kind of thing down Trenchtown here, so that you can have visitors coming in the area and what have you, with whatever development that they plan to have. But I haven't heard anything since,
Mm.
And of
Well,
course, you can't
like so many other announcements over the years.
yes, and you can't talk about Trenchtown and don't talk about Boys Town.
Oh yes.
That
Yes.
place has produced quite a number of outstanding individuals, of course.
Mm-hmm.
One noted, of course, is the late Carly Smith,
Yep.
who was a cricketer. And
Holly Smith Drive.
Carly Smith Drive.
Mm-hmm.
I think they used to call that road, was it Central Road? Before it became Carly Smith Drive.
Mm-hmm.
And I think at least. But there's so much that could be done. And some of those houses that they have been so long and really should be, even if you have to have one there rebuilt in a way so that people can see what happened. But a lot of those
Right, I'm with you. I'm with you. I'm with you on that. Sorry, go ahead.
Because I wouldn't be living in something like that and having visitors coming there. Just have a replica
Mm-hmm.
of the
original houses.
Original coming from way back.
Yeah.
As they used to call it, the 2 shilling house.
Really? That was the name?
Mm-hmm. You can probably ask Stoneman or things like that, but I think that's the thing, because it was more or less like paying nothing at all, But something really should be done. It doesn't make sense to talk about Trenchtown and not talking about real development,
True.
It can be done. You see that Port Royal thing that you mentioned?
Uh-huh.
It is a shame that it has not taken off the weight which it should have.
Mm-hmm.
Because you did mention, what's his name? Was it Dr. Vin
Dr.
Lawrence?
Vin Lawrence, yes.
And I think there was another gentleman.
And you're talking Robert Stevens.
Right.
Yes.
And I recall myself and some friends who went over by Port Royal. And we went into one of those places to have some refreshment. And there was this big layout of the plans. And I was really impressed with it.
Mm-hmm.
And you go back, you see the same thing, and nothing has been done.
That's like the redevelopment of downtown Kingston. Mind you, a little more is being done now, which is quite obvious,
But we have to be very careful with downtown Kingston. We can't replace everything with new concrete structures,
That
because
too.
When you go to certain countries and things like that,
the architectural integrity.
Are there.
Yeah, the architectural integrity.
And we have to be very careful. Downtown Kingston is not even a place where you do a lot of driving. It's walking down to the...
They maybe should pedestrianize some of the streets, eh?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
So a lot of attention. There's much potential as a Kingston, and I think much more could be done rather than just replacing everything with these high concrete buildings and what have you. Yes, we're living in modern times, but it's not everything you just throw away, so...
No, not at all. The architectural heritage should be preserved.
And there is a caller that calls quite a number of times. I can't remember her name, but I'm always impressed with her. She always seemed to be the first person out of the block on the WhatsApp thing there.
Who's that, Miss Olive?
Miss Olive.
Mm-hmm.
I really like her input,
Yes.
And things like that. And generally, all the callers like Rascav.
Yes.
Yes.
He must be very busy getting some serious Christmas work. People want new furniture and so on at this time of year, maybe.
Yes, I must commend you on the program, and
Yes. Thank you.
And even when you broadcast from overseas,
Yes.
Very interesting.
Thank you.
So I'll hold and get
Yes, hold for the number for Stoneman.
Thank you.
Thank you for the call.
Not at all.
All the best. This is your program, Both Sides of the Story, Power 106 FM. Hello, good afternoon. Thanks for calling.
Sir Malcolm.
Welcome.
The president of Radio Show.
You're very kind.
Let me tell you before I say anything, let me take time with you to say good evening to Miss Williams in Cementville, Miss May.
Yes, indeed.
And all your audience.
Yes, thank you.
As you hand here on history in Jamaica.
Yes.
When you mention Mary Seco,
All right.
Remind
Hold
me.
on. Don't move, please. Tell us some more after the break. Didn't realize we're this close to the break.
Put on your dancing shoes and come with me tonight. Gonna rock till broad daylight.
At Wellington Dental, they offer cleaning, filling, whitening, and other services for the entire family. The time by Wellington Dental is
4 o'clock. The Scientific Research Council invites you to nominate Jamaican female scientists and technologists as they showcase their scientific achievements and contribution to Jamaica's development in the S&T Extraordinaires JA docu-series and publication. Visit their website src.gov.jm, click on the flyer, then complete the nomination form. Nominations close on Friday, November 30 at 11:59 p.m. SRC's Extraordinaires, celebrating success, inspiring our future.
The craziest sale of the year is now on at ENR Hardware from November 22 to 27. Enjoy extra special discount on BH flat emulsion paint on the gallon until December 31. Make no mistake, ENR Hardware is your place to shop for the best prices, friendliest professional service, and comfortable shopping. ENR Hardware, Lot 16 to 17, Portmore Town Center, 876-988-7485-6. Hurry, hurry, hurry!
Hello, boys and girls! The Gleaners Children's Zone is back in schools. Get your weekly Smart Start for all ages. Pep lessons for grades 4 to 6, plus literacy and numeracy for grades 1 to 4. Parents, ignite your child's mind. Education and inspiration in every publication. The Gleaners Children's Zone, supporting you for more than 70 years. For more information, call us at 876-932-6188 or 876-932-6288 or contact your school.
Que ahora es en español, son las 4:02. Quelle heure est-il en français? Les 4 de 现在 TDN 4:02, 2 minutes past 4 o'clock in the afternoon, here at Broadcast House, 32 Lyndhurst Road, Kingston 5, St. Andrew, Jamaica. Have you had a checkup lately? If not, now is a good time. Let's not wait till we get sick to get a checkup. How about that? Checking in with more on your program, Both Sides of the Story, Power 106 FM. Thanks for holding. Please go right ahead.
Chico. It reminds me of at Aid Park in England. How they protect it, that everybody else from the world can go and visit, sit down, relax, and have any conversation.
Yes.
That is why Port Royal should be very, very much be the foremost place in Jamaica, or with the rest.
True.
So, sir, I'm glad that last caller mentioned Collie Smith. Because while you were talking about Trenchtown,
yes,
he's one of the persons who came back to me in my mind. And also, how could I do without mention Ambassador Theatre? So, sir, not to be unkind, I want to say your theme song remind me of this. How we are going to spend our Christmas locked in. It's going to be a very unusual Christmas among all the Christmases. Guess what? More people used to be on the street back in the days, like when you have the Little Theatre active, you have the Carib Theatre active, you have the Odeon Theatre active, you have the Tropical Theatre, you have the Gaiety Theatre, you have the Queen's Theatre, you have the King's Theatre, you have the Majestic Theatre, you have the Ritz Theatre, you have the Palace Theatre, you have the Boulevard Drive-In Theatre, you have the Harbour View Drive-In, you have Rialto, and you have the Lux. And then you have the Regal. And also, 2 places, Spanish Town, you always have the Astra, and Clarendon, you have the Capri. I say that to say, sir, more people used to be on the street. Homes used to live with less people. And today we have more people staying home because of technology. How our crime gets so far and it can't control. And too much relaxation sitting down at one place and giving up. And the persons who are monitoring the whole program are being less taken care of. Mr. Malcolm, we need to check our history. Thank you for your program, sir. Your theme song, 15, and it is appreciated. Please keep up the good work, sir, and never stop teaching.
Thank you very much. All the best. Take care. This is your program, Both Sides of the Story, Power 106 FM, still streaming live on the Gleaners website, go-jamaica.com. Another reminder that we are where we have been for a very long time. Last year, this time was a Monday, and the headline was Bloody Sunday. Girls, grandma among 4 slain. And there was a picture of police personnel with their backs to the camera, heading in the direction of the scene of the crime. And the story was that the serene community of Trial Heights in Spanish Town, St. Catherine, was torn by terror on Sunday as gunmen targeted a family about 4:30 p.m., killing them execution style. There was maximum carnage and no mercy. That was a year ago, right here in Jamaica. Just another reminder of the nature and extent of the conundrum facing us. Also on the front page of the Gleaner last year, this time, face-to-face New Year crisis. COVID surge could doom expanded in-person classes, January. There was another story, blood bank under probe last year, this time, following claims of irregularities that threatened the integrity of its testing and processing regimen. And let's take you, all right, let's clear a couple of messages first before we go on. Natalie Winter, good afternoon. Independent Mind says, hi, Dervan. The Crimea belonged to Russia from the time of Catherine the Great. It is now fully a part of Russia. Well, obviously, Vladimir Putin knows his history, and that's why he acted the way he did. Diane B. Queen says, good afternoon. Jamaica missed an opportunity as they really could have capitalized on the popularity of the Pirates of the Caribbean movies. The history of Port Royal was central to the story. Yeah, well, this is it. This is a treasure, and we don't have anything to show for it. It wasn't even filmed here. Can you imagine? Wasn't even filmed here. See, we don't cherish and treasure what we have, and so invariably we lose it. Nicola in Mandeville, Manchester. Good afternoon to you. Oops. Well, technically speaking, she's not in Mandeville, Manchester. I keep forgetting. She's somewhere in central Jamaica. Let's leave it at that. KSN Sports Bar. Good afternoon to you. What a way to advertise your sports bar. I hope you're doing everything that is required by the authorities and you're abiding by all the protocols at KSN Sports Bar. Jennifer Stewart says, good afternoon, Sir Dervan. Blessing to you. That's what they call it, guerrilla marketing or ambush marketing. Okay, cleverly worked it. No, I don't have a problem highlighting small businesses. We just want to, it's always good to know what we're highlighting, because we wouldn't want to be highlighting an organization, institution, or enterprise that is not up to date, so to speak. Let's just leave it at that. And there are some more messages which we will come back to in a moment. There was something else we wanted to highlight. Don't want to forget it, but let's go to the phone lines while we try to retrace our steps. Hello, good afternoon. Thank you for calling.
Good afternoon. Are you hearing me, sir?
Good afternoon, Mr. Wilson. How are you? You're on a bad line, but we'll do our best. Yes, you're on the humming line. We have a humming line here.
No, but it's clear on my side.
Well, good to hear that your ears are not suffering.
Yeah.
Mm.
But the other day I was listening and you were coming out of Clarendon, that Clarendon College. That's one of them members died. I get to understand that the member got to a political meeting, and when he was coming home, gunman shot him up. I want to take condolence to the Clarendon College staff and students.
Yes, I'm sorry to hear that. We did hear that in the news.
Yeah, man.
We did hear that in the news.
And I want to hear up the principal, my name is David Wilson.
Yes.
Yeah, man. I was very sorry to hear about that incident. When I was a little boy, I used to live at Capital. You know?
Yes.
Yeah, man. I used to go up at Clarendon College. There were some very nice people up
Yes,
there.
it was the groundsman. The groundsman employed to Clarendon College was killed on Sunday night on the compound. 37-year-old Roydell Robert.
Yeah.
After 9, he left a political meeting and went to the school where he resides.
Yeah.
Residents later heard gunshots and called the police. Yeah.
Well, most of killings are going on this country, Jamaica, boy.
That tragedy aside, the school has such a rich history. When you enter, we've done so many broadcasts from the school. When you enter, there is a bust of Reverend Davy.
Yeah.
Reverend Davy founded Clarendon College and died in a train crash a few days after founding Clarendon College.
Oh.
Yes. And it just goes to show that when we do our work, we must do it well.
Yeah.
Because we never know. We never know what is likely to happen. So he obviously served his purpose. His purpose was to found an institution, an educational institution. This educational institution was Clarendon College. Lester Davy, Reverend Lester Davy, founded Clarendon College on the 2nd of February, 1942. 2nd of February, 1942. And died, I'm trying to remember the number of days after. He died a few days after. And Clarendon College is still standing.
Yeah, man.
So he did his work. He fulfilled his purpose, and then he made his exit. You know, sad, tragically, in that train crash.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was Kendall train crash?
No, definitely not.
It's not in Jamaica.
In Jamaica, yes, in a train crash in Jamaica.
Yeah.
Yes. I actually have all that history. It's not on this system that I have here.
Yeah.
It's, I've shared it before on this program. For example, on the 2nd of February in any given year, I would share that story. So I would normally have the information with me. I perhaps still can pull it up. But just to make the point about how we relate, how we make our contribution, what we do, how we spend our time here on earth, and the nature and extent of the contribution that we make. Because here's an example, you know, Reverend Davy.
Yes.
Thank you very much for the call, the circumstances notwithstanding.
Yeah, man.
All the best.
Thank you, Mr. Malcolm.
Sure. Thank you too. Take care. Bye-bye. This is your program, Both Sides of the Story, Power 106 FM. Coming up on another break. And good afternoon to all members of the Clarendon family, Clarendon College family. We commiserate with you as you mourn the passing of your groundsman, the tragic murder of your groundsman. Let's go to the break and come back with more in just a moment.
You're
listening to Power 106 FM. The time is now
4:15.
Call up your BFF for Jamaica's biggest shopping event of the year, Black Friday Frenzy, starting Thursday, November 25 to Tuesday, November 30. Shop safe, follow the COVID-19 protocols, shop local, support our island's businesses, shop longer, enjoy 1 week of huge savings, up to 70% off furniture, household items, TVs, jewelry, toys, clothes, shoes, and so much more. Black Friday Frenzy, Thursday, November 25 to Tuesday, November 30. Shop safe, shop local, shop longer. It's presented by the RGR Gleaner Communications Group in partnership with Multilink Jamaica. For details on participating stores, visit bffjamaica.com.
You should feel the same way. Just put on your new shoes and come. Yeah, let the Christmas get you in a good mood. Let the Christmas get you feeling fine. Put on your dancing shoes and come with me tonight. We're gonna rock till broad daylight.
Que hora es en español? Son las 4:16. Quelle heure est-il en français? Les 4:16. Ciencia, TDN le, ce dien shir liao fen. 16 minutes past 4 o'clock in the afternoon here at Broadcast House, 32 Lyndhurst Road, Kingston 5, St. Andrew, Jamaica. Have you done your homework yet? If not, now is a good time. Good afternoon to all the schoolers listening to us, all the students from the early childhood level to the secondary level. Trust you had a productive day of learning today. Hope you also managed to get in some physical activity, just as important as mental activity. As we always say, young people, socialization makes you educable. Education makes you trainable. Training makes you employable. And the right attitude makes you successful. Homework time, young people. Let's continue with more on your program, Both Sides of the Story, Power 106 FM. Still streaming live on the Gleaners website, go-jamaica.com. Live on your smart devices all over the world. Good afternoon to the team at the JAA. The first annual general meeting of the Jamaica Automobile Association, JAA, was held on this day in 1925. The JAA is Jamaica's and the region's oldest and largest non-profit organization of its kind, serving the interests of its members and the motoring public of Jamaica. The JAA was started in 1924 with a membership of 319 people. 310 men and 9 women. When the Jamaica Automobile Association's first annual general meeting was held on this day in 1925, the rules of the association, which largely govern the organization, were adopted, and it's the same rules to this day, apparently. That was 1925. So Jamaica National, JN Bank, they own JAA. The JAA, they took it over. And that is the driver education arm of JN Group. So they teach people to drive. And you'll see those yellow vehicles on the road with the letters JAA. So they're coming from afar, coming from afar. Coming from afar. All right, let's continue with a little more here. Let's see. Let's go back to 2008. Here's a story from the Gleaner, 2008. On this day in 2008, notwithstanding calls from some interests for the government to formulate a rescue plan for the tourism and manufacturing industries, the Finance Minister Audley Shaw sought to calm fears, saying the Jamaican economy was not in crisis. Speaking in an address to the nation, Mr. Shaw insisted that the regulatory systems were strong enough to cushion the impact of the worldwide financial turmoil. We are not in panic mode. Our regulatory regime continues to be effective and our institutions remain strong, a confident Audley Shaw told Jamaicans during the broadcast. The strength and resilience of our people come to the fore at times of greatest challenge. We're committed to the steady, resolute, and inclusive leadership that the circumstances demand, he added. Mr. Shaw had earlier said that the meltdown triggered by plunging stock values in the United States in September 2008 would be sufficiently isolated to industries that would not send shockwaves through Jamaican markets. As reported by the Gleaner on this day, in 2008, and there's another one we wanted to share. 1988, on this day in 1988, Selwyn Carlton Alexander was the recipient of a humanitarian award at the American Friends of Jamaica's 7th annual Jamaica Charity Ball. The award was received by the Honorable Keith Johnson as Carlton Alexander was ill. Selwyn Carlton Alexander also received the Order of Jamaica and Commander of the Order of Distinction. Selwyn Carlton Alexander was born in Montego Bay on the 9th of May, 1916, to Selwyn Augustus and Rosina Alexander. He was the first of 9 children. He attended Orange Hill Prep School in Montego Bay, St. John's College in Kingston, and Jamaica College. Other formal education included night classes at Kingston College, where he learned shorthand, typing, and bookkeeping. Selwyn Alexander, at age 16, started working with Grace Kennedy and Company in 1933 as a stock clerk and rose to the position of chairman of the company. Now, if that is not a study in upward mobility. At 16 years old, Selwyn Carlton Alexander, at age 16, started working with Grace Kennedy and Company in 1933 as a stock clerk and rose to the position of chairman of the company. The Grace Kennedy Foundation was established in memory with $4.5 million, a $4.5 million fund to help education in Jamaica. What an example that is. You start out as a 16-year-old working at Grace Kennedy in 1933 as a stock clerk, and then you eventually rise to the position of chairman of the company. That's a study in upward mobility. And let's see, the Corruption Prevention Bill was passed in the House of Representatives on this day in 1999. The bill was piloted by the Minister of National Security and Justice, K.D. Knight. Just another reminder that it's not for lack of laws. We do have the laws. We have the laws on our books here in Jamaica. We have passed legislation to deal with matters of national significance, not least of all corruption. The Corruption Prevention Bill was passed in the House of Representatives on this day in 1999. The bill was piloted by the Minister of National Security and Justice, K.D. Knight. So it's not that we don't have laws. It's whether our laws have enough teeth or whether we have the political will to enforce the laws. Yeah, that was 99. Let's share another bit with you. Asafa Powell was born on this day in 1982. Asafa Powell is the only man in history, wait for it, the only man in the history of the world to run under 10 seconds. Where is it now? In terms of, I was counting, at one stage he had done it 80 times. I think he moved up to about 93 times. Let's see if we can find out where where he has stopped in terms of the number of times he went under 10 seconds. Powell, Asafa Powell under 10 seconds. Let's see what they. I don't think he got to the 100 though. I don't think he got to 100 times under 10 seconds. Let's see here. Well, let me see. Powell 38 owns the record, right? 97 career sub 10 second 100 meter performances. So say what you want to say about Asafa Powell. He's already in the history books. He's already in the history books because he was the first to really get world attention in terms of within the last couple of decades, as far as a world beater in the 100 meters is concerned. But more than that, which is a function of his stick-to-itiveness and his stamina, the fact that he has been able to go under 10 seconds 97 times. 97 times. So he owns the record of 97 career sub 10 second 100 meter performances. The last time he went under 10 seconds was on the 1st of September 2016. He did not make the final of the 100 at the Jamaican Championships in 2017 or 2019, missing both World Championships teams. He lured the 100 meter world record to 9.77 seconds on the 14th of June 2005. I remember it like it was yesterday. Altie Hilton and I were coming back from an outside broadcast. And when we got to that bridge at 6 Miles, it was on the radio. The information was coming over that Asafa Powell had broken the record for the 100 meters at, what was it? Was it the Prefontaine Classic? Was it the one in Oregon, or I'm trying to remember now, but one of those meets. Let me see if I have it here. Yeah, but no, I'm not seeing it here. But the only man in the history of the world to run under 10 seconds 97 times. 97 times. Happy birthday, Asafa Powell, and all the very best to you and yours. And those who are into basketball, the Sacramento Kings ended the NBA's longest road losing streak. 43 games. 43. Can you imagine a losing streak? 43 games, Sacramento Kings. And that ended on this day in 1991. What a thing. Let's see now, 1999. Let's go back to 1999. The finance minister, Dr. Omar Davies, announced a 50% increase in government pensions in the House of Representatives. People with 10 to 19 years service would get a minimum of $54,000 annually. Ouch. $54,000 a year, which is just more than $1,000 per week. While those with more than 20 years service would get a minimum of $72,000 annually, nearly $1,400 per week. Goodness. What are they getting now? What are the government pensioners getting now? Oh dear. And just before we take this break, let's go to the break. Well, we're almost there. I wanted to get in a quick one before the break. Quick one. Prime Minister Hugh Shearer drove the first pile into the ground to symbolically mark the start of the first convention 355-room hotel at the new Falmouth Resort City in Trelawney. That's the same one they used to call Trelawney Beach Hotel. I'm trying to remember the new name. We'll be back in just a moment.
Christmas get you in a good mood. Merry Christmas get you feeling fine. Put on your dancing shoes and come with me tonight. Gonna rock till
You're listening to Power 106 FM. The time is now
4:30.
Call up your BFF for Jamaica's biggest shopping event of the year, Black Friday Frenzy, starting Thursday, November 25 to Tuesday, November 30. Shop safe, follow the COVID-19 protocols, shop local, support our island's businesses, shop longer, enjoy 1 week of huge savings, up to 70% off furniture, household items, TVs, jewelry, toys, clothes, shoes, and so much more. Black Friday Frenzy, Thursday, November 25 to Tuesday, November 30. Shop safe, shop local, shop longer. It's presented by the RGR Gleaner Communications Group in partnership with Multilink Jamaica. For details on participating stores, visit bffjamaica.com.
all I want for Christmas is a beat to dancing time.
Que ahora es en espagnol. Son las 5:29. Quelle heure est-il en français? Les 5h moins 29. Tiens, TDN le Wu Dien Cha Ar Shir Jiao Fen. 29 minutes to 5 o'clock in the afternoon here at Broadcast House, 32 Lyndhurst Road, Kingston 5, St. Andrew, Jamaica. Do you know where your children are? Are they where they're supposed to be, doing what they're supposed to be doing? It's a good time to check up on the children. A good time for us to continue with more on your program, Both Sides of the Story, here on Power 106 FM. Taking your calls on 876-922-4112, 876-922-4113, 876-922-4114, and 876-922-4115. The text line is the same as the WhatsApp number, which means you can not only send us your text messages, but also your WhatsApp messages, your voice notes. In fact, you can call us on the WhatsApp line. You have options. Take full advantage of the options. How about that? Let's continue with more on your program, Both Sides of the Story, Power 106 FM. Some greetings are in order. Paul in Philadelphia says, "Good day, Dervan, and all listeners from the Paul Miles Foundation. The foundation is close to the end of another successful and also sad year with the loss of our local operations manager, Ms. Yvonne Bowes. A special thanks to the following individuals for assisting in the distribution of more than 100 laptops, Chromebooks, and other school supplies to schools, teachers, and students. Mrs. Sophia Bowes Lewis, Mrs. Sheena Mackenzie Scott, Mrs. Janice Bowes Wellington, Mrs. Debbie Ann Hall, Mr. Adley Lewis, Ms. Shauna Ashley, and Mr. Mario Miles. We join you in conveying regards and thanks, Paul Miles, to those listed just now. All the best. Well done to you and your team. Jason Royalty says greetings to you too, Jason Royalty. Inez Iona Campbell, good afternoon. Thanks for tuning in. Anthony Davis says, hi, Hi, Malcolm. The rehabilitation of the Ward Theatre was Andrew Holness's 2017 main Labor Day project. I know, Anthony Davis. I was there. I have the pictures to show as well. Power 106 FM covered that Labor Day exercise. And so we know. And furthermore, we have over the years expressed our disappointment at what has become of the Ward Theatre. And because the Ward Theatre means a lot to me. That is where my interest in the arts started. My mother's good friend, Miss Maisie, Auntie Maisie we used to call her, she would ensure that our mother, my sister and I, that our mother, at the time it was only the two of us, that she would get us ready every Boxing Day to watch the opening of the pantomime. So we never missed a pantomime as children because Auntie Maisie would make sure we were dressed and taken to Ward Theatre to watch the pantomime. It didn't hit me until later on in life that as an adult that is where my interest, that's what sparked my interest in the arts. That's what triggered it, it seems. I can't think of any other thing. So we used to watch the pantomime every Boxing Day because the pantomime would open on the Boxing Day, the 26th. And it was at the same Ward Theatre we managed to grace the stage as a student performing. And it was while there in the Ward Theatre performing as a student that I was discovered, as they say. And discovered by who? Tony Leng, the late great Tony Leng. So there's a lot of history there. And so I share your disappointment, Anthony Davis, that we're still waiting on the completion of the renovation of the Ward Theatre. We should do a follow-up. I know the mayor of Kingston has been involved with that project as well. It was indeed the Labor Day project for 2017. And as Anthony Davis says, up to this day, not even a tin of paint don't go on the external walls of the Ward Theatre. It is one of the eyesores of downtown Kingston Parade. We need to get these lazy leaders working, says Anthony Davis. And the KSN Sports Bar says blessings. Thank you very much. Yeah, it is very disappointing because we got very excited. Those of us who continue to hold the Ward Theatre in high esteem, we got very excited about that renovation, that restoration of the Ward Theatre. And here we are. So we need to put it back on the agenda because it obviously has fallen off, Anthony Davis. We need to get it back on the agenda. We need to push for the completion of the renovation works on the Ward Theatre. We're going to follow up on that. Thank you for reminding us, Anthony Davis. Here's a message from Eureka. Eureka says, good afternoon, Dervan. I hope you're well. I'm one of those people who support the increase of remuneration for the police, but I dislike when unions enter into negotiations and come to the public that they're being disrespected because of the offer they received. If I'm an employer and my ability to pay is based on the taxes received, and I am unable to make such payments, how does that become a disrespect? This administration has not raised taxes for 3 consecutive years. If the money cannot be found, the public might be asked to make sacrifices for additional taxes. We need to cut waste due to corruption. I'm happy to see the swiftness with which the government has fired people who are alleged to be involved in corrupt acts. More needs to be done, but this is the first administration that acts so swiftly in curbing corrupt behavior, says Eureka. We'll come back to that discussion. Let's go to the phone lines, 876-922-4112-5. Good afternoon. Thanks for calling.
Blessings and good afternoon to you, Mr. Malcolm.
Blessings and good afternoon. It's been a while. Hope you're well. Hope you managed to survive COVID-19.
Likewise. The sentiment is mutual.
Yes.
I assume that you have taken all your jobs already.
Yes, indeed, I have. The 2 jabs of the Oxford AstraZeneca vaccine.
Okay, in spite of what the man of God advises not to.
Who's that? Which man of God advised me not to?
So you're going back for your 3rd and your 4th booster shot? I assume soon.
No, that's not on the cards right now.
Okay.
Not right now.
if you want to start, you can't stop. But I want to discuss briefly.
Yes.
As you mentioned, corruption.
Yes.
And I take for granted that
somebody is
corruption,
sweeping. That's a loud broom, man. What?
yes,
That's a loud broom.
I take for granted that corruption entails misappropriation of funds, embezzlement, and also mismanagement, deliberate mismanagement. Am I right?
Yeah, it would be deliberate. Yes.
Yes, and I use these references to a situation with the rice, the revitalization of the Jamaican
rice industry.
Some years ago. That was under the Booth Golden administration.
Yes, I remember that.
Yes, and the portfolio was held by this present
the health minister, who was then agriculture minister. Yes.
Yeah, the so-called vaccine, so-called in open close quotation pushing minister. All right, Mr. Malcolm.
Yes.
If an account or if an audit was to be run, which I think, right, yes, I don't think there's any statutory limitation. But that project needs to be investigated, even though it's
the failed rice project. Yes. Mm-hmm.
Because I recall, and I was very excited.
I was too, because I'd only read about it in history. When I read the history of Westmoreland, I learned of the rice fields there and thought that we were going to see a renaissance.
There you go.
But it wasn't to be.
Okay, Mr. Malcolm. And that gentleman called you earlier on and was also expressing excitement in his time when they used to plant the rice.
Yeah, did you hear it? The excitement was quite palpable.
Yeah, and it's a bygone age, not to return.
Unfortunately.
Unfortunately.
Yes.
And also has something to do with the incompetence and corruption of men and their actions. Of men rather than their actions.
Yes.
I show you something, and you can take that in the context of the so-called Port Royal plan redevelopment.
Yes.
I'm going to ask your opinion on that. Do you think that the reason given for the shelving of that project is logical or doesn't make any sense?
No, it's not acceptable, actually.
It's
not acceptable. It means...
Yeah, but we just let it slide under the bushel, so to speak.
Yeah.
And or under the carpet. And we just like the rice project. Mm-hmm. I think because the time that rice project was being mentioned and was being put into action, commission, it's somewhere going down all over. I think it's in the Church Pen region.
Mm-hmm.
And I tell you something, Mr. Malcolm. I remember they were showing it on television, some people that was planting rice many years, because that gentleman was telling about a Indian man that actually milled the rice.
Yes.
A different person. Yeah. I saw CVM television personnel and CVM and TVJ was going around the country, because you still have people here planting rice, Mr. Malcolm. Right now as we're speaking.
I didn't know that, really?
Yes, man. Yeah, okay. You still have people where they said, we call them Indians. But it's really East Indian people. They were on the television giving advice that the honorable minister at that time, which is presently our Minister of Health, Mr. Christopher Tufton, should consult with them. And they would actually give them the initial seed of the plant.
Oh.
So you know what the honorable minister did?
What?
He went overseas and get so-called experts, and they were and consult several of them, and there was a whole variety. Everyone come with their variety. There was several personnel come with their own variety, and all of these personnel was paid in US dollar. These consult. I mean, what you call them? What do you call them? Experts. Yeah, they were paid with US dollars. They were paid with US dollars that was extracted out of the Jamaica. Or our so-called funds here, our budget. And it says when people was inviting him gladly, locally. Jamaican people, and someone would call and back me up.
One moment, please. One moment.
You're listening to Power 106 FM. The time is now
4:45. The Scientific Research Council invites you to nominate Jamaican female scientists and technologists as they showcase their scientific achievements and contribution to Jamaica's development in the S&T Extraordinaires JA docuseries and publication. Visit their website src.gov.jm. Click on the flyer, then complete the nomination form. Nominations close on Friday, November 30 at 11:59 p.m. SRC's Extraordinaires, celebrating success, inspiring our future.
¿Qué hora es en español? Son las 5 menos 14. Ciencia. I beg your pardon. I mixed up my French with my Spanish. Let's do that again. ¿Qué hora es en español? Son las 5 menos 14. Quelle heure est-il en français? Les 5 heures moins 14. 现在地点了5点4分 14 minutes to 5 o'clock in the afternoon here at Broadcast House, 32 Lyndhurst Road, Kingston 5, St. Andrew, Jamaica. Good afternoon to all working Jamaicans tuned in to both sides of the story here on Power 106 FM. It's a good time for us to ask ourselves, how productive have we been today? How productive have we been today? Are you still there? Hello?
Yes, I'm still here.
Let me help you. There's a story published by the Jamaica Information Service, JIS, on the 30th of January, 2009. The headline was, Agriculture Ministry to make decision on growing rice in Jamaica in 6 months. The story goes on. A decision on whether Jamaica can begin the growing of rice on a commercial scale is to be made in another 6 months. This was disclosed by Minister of Agriculture, Dr. Christopher Tufton, while on a tour of an experimental plot at the Bodles Research Station in Old Harbour, St. Catherine, on Wednesday, January 28. Dr. Tufton told JIS News that investigations were being carried out on 9 plant varieties at the Bodles Research Station, and a preliminary determination would be reported to him shortly. In another 3 months or so, we will know how viable this is. If it's not viable, we may not be in a position to promote it. If it is viable, then we will. Once we're clear on it, certainly within 6 months, you will see us promoting it among farmers in those critical rice-growing areas, he said. He explained that investigations will include looking at the traditional growing areas to see what is happening and the preparations on the ground. Discussions will have to be held with various agencies to come to a final position. Experts we have here will have to help develop best practices in that area, and we will provide the training for the farmers, he added. Dr. Tufton said that help will be coming from several countries within the region, as well as extra-regionally. We're looking for the best practices wherever we can find them, he noted. The minister said that experts would be coming from Guyana, Brazil, China, Africa, and the Dominican Republic. Senior agronomist in the Ministry of Agriculture based at the Bodles Research Station, Carla Douglas, explained that their main responsibility was to conduct data collection and to determine which variety is best. And they went on to say, so far the Cybernet sample, a dwarf variety, which has the shortest maturing cycle, the Adron 125 and the Prosikisa 4, which bears at least 4 times more replanting, etc., etc. And the project has also received private sector attention. Jamaica Broilers, in collaboration with the ministry, has already earmarked 150 acres of land for production. 25 acres are currently in production, which will aid the Ministry of Agriculture to evaluate the commercial element of the project. Farmers from the 2 primary rice-growing parishes Westmoreland, and St. Elizabeth, who were in attendance, said they were happy to see the progress being made towards the reintroduction of rice growing in Jamaica. The varieties of rice being examined are from Guyana, the United States of America, and the Dominican Republic. So there is the story to support the points you were making.
Hallelujah, Mr. Malcolm, your listener. You said so much. You know that we used to plant rice before. So there was no need for no foreign consultant and no variety experiment. None. But they have our money to waste, just like what they're doing with the housing trust money. It's no longer an housing trust. Like I said, Mr. Malcolm, I'm sorry to. This is the medium by which I can express my disgust and my ire against successive administration in this country. Because of their corrupt action. I would just use that word because I want to use more inappropriate word to describe it. And I mean all parties across the board. But Mr. Malcolm, I did want to read something from the scripture.
Yes.
That there will not be any change, but I will give someone else an opportunity. Mr. Malcolm, I will leave you with this. It might sound a little, jokifying. It was said that 25 acres that was planted, it's supposed to be seedling for the distribution so that we can go into commercial plantation. Reinstitute what we used to do before, many years, decades ago. No, it was said, Mr. Roger Clark, there was some joke that Mr. Roger Clark made on the television television media that him alone could have eat off all that 20 acres. And it was said anecdotally that maybe that's what
I remember that.
That's what causes demise.
Well,
and I take the opportunity when the project, the first, they said they was going to reap, because I was lining up to be a part of that, because they were also registering farmers, young farmers, and the 40 up to 40 year old to help in the planting, and they would contribute land, etc., etc. Mr. Malcolm, that needs to be revisited in the aspect of some form of deep investigation, and an audit is to be done, because the Jamaican people didn't get how much money was spent unnecessarily to bring in person, so-called expert, and bring in different variety when we already established that we have the variety that can grow here commercially. Mr. Malcolm, I will another time. I'll take leave now.
Sure.
I appreciate you. I appreciate you and I appreciate the time that you give me. I want someone else to hear from someone else. Have a good day.
Thank you for the call. Take care. This is your program, Both Sides of the Story, Power 106 FM, still streaming live on the Gleaners website, go-jamaica.com, live on your smart devices all over the world, taking your calls on 876-922-4112, 876-922-4113, 876-922-4114, and 876-922-4115. The text line, same as the WhatsApp number, 876-365-3346. KSN, yeah, we said hi already. Violet White, welcome. Thanks for tuning in. Norman Hines in St. Thomas is also in touch with us. Thank you very much for joining us here on Both Sides of the Story, Power 106 FM. Let's clear some of these messages on YouTube. Diane, we read Diane's message already, didn't we? Let's see. Yes. Natalie says, hi, good evening. Good afternoon, Natalie. All pleasant viewing, definitely. The Ward Theatre surely needs to fix up, she says. Donovan Campbell says, good afternoon, Mr. Malcolm and listeners. Thank you for the history about Mary Seacole. Happy to oblige, Donovan Campbell. Thank you very much for tuning in and making it both sides of the story here on Power 106 FM. Let's clear a few more messages before we have to wrap. Owen Lewis says, Mr. Malcolm, bless up. I want to press the government to consider the citizens who are faced with rapid prices and give us an increase on our salaries. Minimum wages need to go like before the year end. Do you mean go up? Things getting unbearable. If left to our employers, nothing more we would get. Thanks. Well, we know what the minimum wage is, which is just a marker, not to necessarily be followed to the point where if you can pay more, you don't pay more. The idea is you shouldn't pay less than that. But if you can pay more, you should pay more. So we would hope if you want to take that up with the government, we suggest you take it up with the Ministry of Labor and Social Security, with respect to, especially if you're in the Ministry of Labor and Social Security is what we would suggest, Owen, if you want to be clear on what your rights are and what is possible or should be possible in your line of work, and whether the rates that are being paid are acceptable, etc. That's what we would suggest, Owen. And blessed child, good afternoon to you. Beresford says, "Hail, Brother Dervan. It is a crying shame that we would let the Ward Theatre fall into such a terrible state of disrepair. I like to hold government accountable, but this one is on all Jamaicans, especially those of us who benefited from the existence of such a treasure." Thank you very much, Beresford. We get the point you're making. There are those of us who have lent our support in various ways, but we don't like to talk about those things anyway. So yeah, there are those of us, and I'm speaking of all those who have played their part in the maintenance of the Ward Theatre. H. Morgan in Birmingham says, "Hi, Dervan. Good afternoon. I do agree with the last message you read pertaining to the wage increase. Now, public service workers get a pay increase each year, and your listener is correct. If the government does not collect taxes, they can't continue to pay our wages, and some of these public servants are far too unreasonable. Some of them are doing very little for the wage they collect. They don't serve the public with pride. Here in the UK, when we get pay rise, in most cases, public servants get 1 or 2%. Some private sectors give 5 to 10 pence on the pound, and this pay rise is not every year, sometimes on 2 yearly basis. I once stated that a large number of Jamaicans do not pay taxes despite the fact that they're earning, yet they want the government to assist them. Those police need to understand that the government spends millions on the COVID pandemic on top of other infrastructure to keep the country moving, so they need to exercise some restraint." Well, that discussion will have to continue into tomorrow because we're out of time for today. Can we thank you once again for the privilege of serving you on yet another edition of your program, Both Sides of the Story, for today, Tuesday, the 23rd of November, 2021. The moving finger writes, and having writ moves on, nor all your piety nor wit shall lure it back to cancel half a line, nor all your tears wash out a word of it. All things being well, Both Sides of the Story returns tomorrow afternoon, 2 to 5. Till then, this is Dervan Malcolm reminding all of us that every day is an opportunity to do better than yesterday. Take care.
Put on your dancing shoes and come with me tonight. We'll all rock till broad daylight. Yeah, yeah. Let the Christmas get you in a groove. Let the Christmas get you feeling fine. Put on your dancing shoes and come with me tonight. We're gonna rock till broad daylight. If your shoes start squeezing you, just kick them all, that's fine. Nothing should stop your feet from dancing. Come on, it's Christmas time, yeah. Let the Christmas get you in a good mood. Let the Christmas get you feeling fine. Put on your dancing shoes and come with me tonight. We're gonna rock till broad daylight.
You're listening to Power 106 FM. The time is now
5 o'clock.
News, comprehensive, powerful, and credible.
Power 106 FM now presents a simulcast of Radio Jamaica's news at